kana tema tonjo tawlen yulen no ngara de gor we tilon penya ya ya go podarun Mabior yude ke tang no bugul jangran Batina ye jeng jeng nyot ojonin goni wa jeng jeng waria tunda na ye jeng galu kaman go ga yu ne lo dina ye jeng maja nden dun chari arba kinda ni jeng de myan na lo jeng o je wel ye lo ga batina ye jeng jeng nyot ojonin goni wa jeng jeng waria tunda na ye jeng galu kaman go ga yu ne lo dina ye jeng maja and the cherry are working and we jump the man. Najaka, I war with your Udoro. Go to the Jeramo, Peruno, Coco Jung, young Valvo, who are a Kai Packer. I query you a young Zukuman on a Japan, who they yell. I am a young Kuyapan and your big can fight a road. I need a tongue jack, take a child, and you all good and would I check a card in the tea. Tarer bawel abeng bol kuda matau ke kayele tiare tidang jangan na jekara ya warga tiar utoro koton jeramo bereguno pagonjong nyang wal gono ulwar ke kai bakir kai kuiri kin yuga juang sukun manang japia kuda yelel adang mayom kunya penyanyo begum ken pajarwo sambi datung jak ke karaja urayang kuda uyan kuda jega kaga bendeti angodi tarer bawel abeng bol kuda matau ke kayeli tijara tinda jengara dia jena ter ke jangkin dan weli ongar jono moda de jono nom pande die ko loike jaga tinda biola dia lo tinda nyari ko ranjol tijira nyar ke pande juno wen pande tinda yen loike jom dia jengara na pande jena ter ke jangkin dan weli ongar jono moda de jono nom pande die ko loike jaga tinda biola dia lo tinda nyari ko ranjol tijira nyar ke pande juno wen pande tinda yen loike oje kwanya banjirong to jagen kan mang bangun belong wel dia yen banjo tinge ton jiran ye banga je to yedno ki matona cinta jelung te oje kwanya banjirong to jagen kan mang bangun belong wel dia yen banjo tinge ton jiran ye banga je to yedno ki matona cinta jelung te jababa tu jirar kam ba tindo ba ku tindo ragaman gat tinda gangan jo tinda angel ba hachelanya du tinda ga yeno ton dol ku chi ton wan tinda ga nam yo ngam kayen go jam ya mariare tinda ku de yeno wale jababa tu jirar kam ba tindo ba ku tindo ragaman gat tinda gangan jo tinda angel ba hachelanya du tinda ga yeno ton dol ku chi ton wan tinda ga nam yo ngam kayen go jam ya mariare tinda ku de yeno wale anatim kwe anatim matonjo
Aliar bunga mare arenje pinam nom dingar kunya inna ngar dinar be wi mainam te wi jing mariar benda ti mainar kole tengai undu ke jpoe mariar kerla tengui ye jing yar perlen yum dj bang twinga ga no jang yin nyan twinga ye ma nyan ke de jan na nyan kira achinde ya tenga be yo la wa twinya de ten kira jang dot yenga ma yini adun wa ga ya ga ngari jing na no mangar kunya ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu yenga ma yini ana dun ti don we te lu ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu yenga ma yini o ga pi ti din chola yar be we ya jang na yin ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu yenga ma yini ga ka ja la chu ga le ya ka a ja la ga le ko chi le ko na bi yen ka chen ti na mangar kunya ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu yenga ma yini ting ting pia the twin ga ja pya ga bung din chola yar be aka yin ga ga twin na ti ja pya ga yin ke e kuin ti no mangar kunya ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu yenga ma yini a chen da ya tenga be mi la wa twin ye te pia la jang duot yenga ma yini adun wa ga ya ga ngari jing na mangar kunya ga ti ja be wer tin ke wi tu ana duang ti don we te lu ta ga ti ja be we ti tu yang arba jing o ga pi ti din chola yar be we pya jang na yin ta ga ti ja be we ti tu yang arba jing ga ka ja la chu ga le ya ka a ja la ga le ko chi le ko na bi yen ka cheng ti na mar ko ni ta ga ti ja be we ti tu yang arba jing ting ting pia the twin ga ja pya ga bung din chola yar be aka yin ga bang twin na ti ja pya ga yin ke e kuin ti no mangar ko ni ta ga ti ja be wa tin tu tu yang arba jing am yar bung mo ra je twin na no ding ngar ko ni inna na ngor ni na yar be wo yi ba nam de wo yi jing no mar yar be na ti ji ba yar ko le chenai dung du ke ju ko e mar yar tung wi ka ye jing yar len yu pe dj karang deng ga ting la ting la de ya ya din chola yar be kan da ma ka ai bung pi nyot
Ông coi đài cái link video share và click về đi qua bên dưới cái dòng ông ta tự nhiên coi đài nữa là do là nó biết chola yar be we pya jang na yin ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang a jang na ka ja la chu ga le ya ka a ja la ga le ko chi le ku na bi yen ka cheng ti ya mar ko ni ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang a jang ting ting pya ga ti na ga ja pya ga bung din chola yar be aka yin ga bang ti na ti ja pya ga yin ke e kuin ti no mangar ko ni ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang arba jing a chen da ya tenga be mi na wa ti ni te ten pya la jang duot yang arba jing a dung wa ga ya ga ngari jing na no mangar ko ni ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang arba jing ana dung ti don we te lu ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang arba jing o ga pi ti din chola yar be we pya jang na yin ta ga ti ja be we tin ku tu yang arba jing ga ka ja la chu ga le ya ka a ja la ga le ko chi le ko na bi yen ka cheng ti ya mar ko
ga bunga din chola yar be
the reason you want to play I bag lo bo
ga yin
I
ke
will find
ni
out
to no mangar ko ni ta ni jo be
video dan make share what of today gonna
am yar bunga mar yar
I'll play one more song by Google Global tôi có kỳ với thì ok lại clear màu ya clear cái gara punya tu gue pakai modal ban ini jama
Queen of Voice, Alan de Mabior Gara, producer Dean Garanda Wurchan, Chipupana Tuidia, Dongrin Promotion.
Ini mana question dulu kau berarti kan? All right, Ben. Those are wonderful songs. I didn't play baby one. Queen of Voice, Alan Mabior. In Yantum Jipping Wounded. Lot of songs I take baby. Pion in good. Then they get out, dear Pandemic. Thank you for that. And we're quite we wait a cake more, wait a cake later then. Don't you event or going to work. Near Cola. Cái anh tàu cái là bánh Dut-machine đun đâm Mabior bây giờ một cái giờ luyện và đến cuối interview đàn cái này achi với mẹ achi với bé và achi với rạch yen bu piat ki yen ko ba loy en ka bro lo introduce aran jamten en chol wisdom wisdom akoy akon yak en mon twitch en mon yual aran yak payam but en ka ja host ne call on this show kan my conversation dan kan yi ban Dut-machine kar ba bai ba mot koy pengin koy dain ci daman din tek ku be yin ben we ne call on this show ba kay mot ku bu ko jagol
wisdom le la real be ke jama ko no dan le uti ka America ko ji chola ka ko bi yo
jamo go dial
okay ko da ya ke mot ara jo dun mo biura ja dun mo biura mo ti ana mo to ke ti ko en ma ke joy board of directors erun taban in wisdom my cv che karet so e jo jo no na dit ba le ba nge ben kan ngaji to
en ban acha gur to mo mud tyo ko ka ba ngur ka wai to ka ba lo ti ba den Dut-machine aneng panden baraneng jani yen le bugu jango ke lui ku illustrate chan be bera mat by Dut-machine up to this time daman ke chin man ba position do twi ba ngur ke le chan bi ko be ngi daran jame kol eran tole ku eran tole ku position de kini twi kene yen ka bi wo kalatin yin ran le ba gol with what inspire me or my Dut-machine and thinking what inspired me okay yeah and again can ba la in mat but cho ban du cho la twen kan introduction day ban
thank you like I said the chineri jidong akono mutui to US aye mai banye tui kwan ko banye tui kwan aye na ko ga payem ako ba kwan chana kunum danda ba na chiri registered ke CBO ko na ye non profit organization non profit organization aye long da America aye required benang board na ye organization scan ka America ke board yene ke ya muksul tile ke wele organization namtin so board nyu pi actually ko kwan ban yege yoga be ya delivering on the objective organization na che ban ko lu ga nyai board na ji ngi lu ga chokata ban le beto run gedi as long as the board is happy and as long as the banya ken ja ken tinga nong ke ye yoga le be nyai lakin in the setup da ko wo yetui awajumat kichi achan organization da betio ken ke American loy ke chugo pol le be anan boto lakin board che chene muksul banya le no to kilo ban kwan kilo ban jo kake a chilong da le bi community ke ya loy so ke board yo loy e ban jo kwan loy so a je ban jo ban ya ku je ban je le le na kor ba ke je kana ka ba loy project kana ka ba funded ku ye board ye ting e project kana ko le lui funded ke chibele ke le bi board le project a chira le berun so ke board loy monthly to approve the budget or be le kana chira le man dare board loy e be ya muksuli election yenge long de twitter e be ya muksuli election dare board loy e be amuksul process ne ga long war ke ga che long ger a chi le bu long cha ko chi le bu long tem go lakin ke ga lo ye long chi tu lu ka mai ro ne ga ye mu na no ni chen ko jeri ni ka le ke ye long lu ki so they act ke interpreted the long so ye ne ke lo ni ye bo lo ka kulo ne ta wo ye no modi ko ke di a je be ba ni ping lu re du yin ga beto woni baya banda ko pugu jolo icho so you get more you get the Indian more ka in the context of tree actually there am banti ne de jamar ke yanka
te na bu jo ngot ke jugla yo bare yen wo be chi ko wala tin ma body ay lo yen ban board ay lo point community ku be be ka ga pi be ke gala loy that mean banyeto a permanent position in gato unless ne ngi chi wo bi tu ye nyai ama ne nga ken che mambe be jot tina ka ku ba lo clear pa ma bi ko be ngi den that position dun to within a permanent position.
no a permanent position as such in long term ane time body ya run gangwan ko this run gangwan ale bagasa price which mean gear on board ile bato body narrow tem to run gangwan this is my second term ke Louis body ana kwen pa 2020 ka ta body collaborator ka member na Louis our term expire 2024 ke bere pa do anje be do urana jalo gong tu Mabior ku urana jalo ngong atem biak ko je be jo ben ge je diran ko ngor kurana lit bayam ralit bayam jang madel kurana ko ngore ding mai na dak so na lo tam the board to 4 years from 2020 alet long robe war ki liten na je long ro war okay argument for a different day again lakin tije gare ne mane erun ke ngwan which means I'm to board until 2028 na je 2028 ben ku choka en je be pya da ka tweeting ke chiro ba le ba du board e chana je mai takan ta ma cha sa serving your second term runi ke ber ke India la bai regardless of changi lui wala cha koi lui 2024 wani le board wani tan tinto len bai rana chola gwen dan men for example I am a member of the board previous one so he was serving his second term from 2020 to 2024 so when I started my first term Agüero was serving his second term and he could not come back one 2024 whatever the case because term a maximum of 2 low and so he could not come back so in get and ka so term board yarun one and you are eligible only to serve 2 terms and this is your second term is dependent on tike banyi payam ni arte because rana ko banyi payam so achi banyi payam be do body for your second term you le bidu so na la 2028 ben kegen wakong tu Mabior wakong atem biar we don't have a choice whether nyar wo wele man wo we have to go home rana eligible le bedong body a jangma do le be do for the second time de may na la le do for the second time and then after that for 2032 ben these two people will vacate they don't have a choice nyin ke na be dial kwani ayen geta ne ka
and thank you ban dang yen to na ai loy ye board ke loy cha wel ke twen every resource ama project ka pane tui be ke lo approve number 2 ebe election lo conduct na ning low election. Number 3 a little ke violence ban to be ke mo ku violence kake inga ke loy.
Bailo ke tuira na kalo etui. Rana bailo ke tuilo etui. Ki ye wisdom bunong ti eting dan bailo ko. Na chi to yin ke to po to yin ba ko kwen. Kuna cha ke kwen kuting anang ti etui mai ro tan. Kuten ta da chipet na ko long the question is long answer the question is jam le bur mai wuri. And this question is not static. Era every year. For example, on Gare Longe, Akagarke 2016. 2016, the oldest children, Kije Shamer, in 2016, were possibly 13, 14. So on Gare Longe, Chiremeto, you the live. So nobody even bothered about them. You know, about 8 years or 9 years later, Kikoi on 13, 14, Aya Koi Dirman. So you can no longer lead the community, teenage youth, and you have nothing about them. A language. I thought we wisdom we
Mas.
So so the question of Bugurun Mai would you evolving. So in a lot of Trilo Queen, for example, long one Tom and Kemai would Quenke. Kulako ting a day. And a longer go at a keep your day or a thing can I live one. He you run to body, really you run to body. Then I are be na between mania. The question of Jambo or my edit, a very lazy. Kuna la thi ke krem ki dung we ke kana aya ne ar bi tu ga la gwire so I can belong to be thi bur mai gudi the ideas come from anybody and remember the tree can initiate belong war e ke duna bi bor bo garbe na ji tu no man mia na ki bo ji garbe bo le ban mai bai le yim ban kan ban mai bai ga mar cho yim ban na lo ma lo chol mia yen wo minute ke ne go we bon ana ku ji ba ben ya la reme tuye jamu dwele ti lwele buku mayro da kele roko wo buku bele te tui bu war ke ki war na ki banya ba ki gam that ko ko boda bugla yen 2 minutes ki 3 minutes 1 hour kala ke wo lo ko nyuj ku je banya ba je jam lwele ko ko boda bugla yen minute kene I can big question the buku mai wudi buku be lwele so ko wan jalwe in wisdom jale boda bi boda ko je lwele nyindwe lwele ke mai wuro dinki kutene aken ba byagaram ayerem lwe na wo ka lo yene ko bitu ye bijo chwa na chitu jigam ka bugar pin gwelo na chitu jire ke yimi jo biar wo yene chine ber lo ye nobody is about to so tu ye ngelong de lo ye chira ndere lo pe.
Okay, thank you. Ian dang Ian bala tinanakan. Wong wood ye board dan gani. Kubuku jango ro jalo latin barin di pan tree my road. Near board kani ke board acts as a IEC. The channel what yenike election ye lo conduct. Titi I want to in outside the country. Ye chicken and board pay kwa IEC pay ama ye entong tiban. Lebanang ti IEC ben baitin. I can be into in charge of the election. Be board the election you will monitor. Chile Budoya.
Ke ra lo ter ki board pan tree before 2024 aya ko yeti udi so ko yeti udi e chilong tu lwele board and the IEC jo kwan members ken gi. So 2024, I mean 2022, 2019 elections, aka loy independent commission ke big body. ko ke di ki ban bo ro kwan le la ka ba la ko ju pai ku ba election tu ba ka loy ku usually aka ya ko ke di ke ka kwan ku ko ke tier aba jo dongo ke jo ko win ki ka kwan bi ya IC bi ke jo monitor. So the function of board I hybrid in the sense where I conducting the election monitoring election yeg lo ke a ko kwanye ke ku mulu ga monitor de ke na ye 2021 ke tinyu bi ko welo ku lo le bora ba ko ke di ke latin. So we ended up being only 5. Now out of 5 in our wisdom or lack of it we you being ku jogo tin kara how do we conduct it na kwanye ko ke dia lo go la ka ba ya we lo election lo ke ka chi lo le lo na to odi ke wo chi lo le tu go lo no tui le go tui go le we wo kor ko ke tier ben go di ko bo be ko lo ni election go tui go gam e ko ke a go chu go le ka yine go wo by to ko pa idea. Unfortunately it did not happen. We ended up be a ko kero go kongor I mean ran to kongor ga jibe ben ko kero lit a jibe ben kuran to nyak kuran to ngajum pa kere chiran all of them they chose a can be chwar because they chu le ran bi yen wo bi lu election chi chwar. So e ko on chu ko ti bi go bi ko election ajo ben ga chi ale ajo ga yo wan fa that. So we sat down and thought okay kalas ke election gina chu be lo the conventional way ke bu ko lo ba se lo ga bu ta wo chen. So wo be ke yo ko tinga election ko bu dan ku te ku ro go la tin le ko ke debate abia ko su mo bi ra organize registration of voters ge jang ma do la beloy logistics ke ka kwon kor ke abia ngo ngaten biar ka loy ku ja compliance ramu to kam yi long kene campaign e de ngwen. And then durumo bi who is the board chairperson will just be there as a backup for anybody kor point. So that's what we presented in Nongpi. And that's what made sense. So we would have loved Penang a commission that really like to run pay. Lakin that commission has to be selected among the board. Okay? So we could not go outside. It had to be us. Second, we did not have enough numbers. So what we thought was, since the commission in a board, we took the power upon ourselves and appointed ourselves now. And we acted both. We commissioned the election. We away board. So that's how it worked. It was out of necessity, chin numbers. Otherwise, our numbers kirka teron kawan ye kadangaloy kirka teron ge tree ya 15 people. Obviously the Juku commission paid the Juku kwan. And by default, the board chairperson wouldn't have been part of the commission. The commission kwan go get about the monitoring below. So that's what happened.
But in the future, do you suggest because if I can see 81 election which tabaret ning dilibu garban yentonial since yenike laws yenike god ma ni ke bai lo so ban tu go
yen ga danga che roping kana anang wan che wolo Rochester anang long ti ga chu ga le ka ba ka war anang long chu ga le ka ba ka war ku long chu ga le ka ba ka war be board do you the chai one of them because we literally the five of us literally became the guinea pig which happened to be the experiment. Indeed, we were not able to, you know. We ended up being about 9, right?
yeah
So that 9 was not even enough. We ended up buku deputy chairperson and yuan. Buku lum after chinchuat. Gogo lum because we don't have a choice, you know. Now, out of that, there was only one person who was me. Now, you see, our people a little bit, we were a little bit politically indisciplined, you know. So even after China campaign, people still want to see young Ajachua, you know. And so for that sanity to be there is supposed to be to go board at the polling station of every payam to make sure that our lecture Kunaira and Korkoin could be go around a body and konye, you know. So I ended up the only person helping Koidi can be sure. Lakin, Najalo Litko, Balakun, Karan, the reagent, and Tomokongor, or Lira, you will leave point, you know. And then now, you cannot trust that person. Because if this person has been campaigning for one candidate, one around the Korkoin, Uran, the Rejam, the candidate, the Karbachurki, and then the person happens to be the campaign agent of the opposite candidate, Chilwell, is either Brionianaro, I can be a spoil good, or Biller routed in January out, you see. So, in as much as election one too low, I can't waiting that I get here as a possible to Tarabenum. Suppose we talk to you. Rantung Liri out of Rantung Gambana papers. Okay? I get here again. Quite get the choice of what we call the Payam God. Rantung Payamako. To make sure Rantilla you are a privately, Uran for point. The Ecoid is him Bende Ballot out of Abira and Abegade. Abira and Abe Abequa point. So accidentally, I'm not so sure now Koyon Gadu really 16 and take a time the way I'm explaining it. But accidentally, that 15 was perfect. When the wind happened, Iramir,
aro wetin jajo pinga
yeah, Japan.
ai wa yene ke tane kan ke na ban
So,
sokol
Malay,
board
let me complete this. So, one Joel Rochester, a Chukutal, one of because someone seen you go to Google, Kukochirping, the Chukuel, Biluele, Kerem, Banyere Miaquanadi, Kichuel, a Banyadi or Biaquanadi, Kichuel, a board with what you did. In a cake, Kichuel, Eric a Banyatui, and in getting the one you dunga. Kirman one, Banyatam Dengango. I just come and get transitional leader, you know. I keep a kum gay a more gay Banyatui. Lakin, I as supposed to be Jota because transition in every country or in every jurisdiction. When powers you loom could generate out there. I take powers by talking a year could gen banky at Bagam. So can I to baby or between green? Ye power yindi, in you call but don't go Banyatui, and you get to the one you get to the one Jenaka banky at. You know? na ye chu garen ka yo gulwele ki chirman project dir wen be mal fi beton a chile ba in a shed you know a chile ba loy
de pol kan
so ka dia a kerut be lwel tong jira be lwel ku ka chitu be gam e be bor do tiu di ka chitu be gam ki jongor ke jidong we ke kira lwel how are we going to handle the term of the board now because there is a confusion look to it somewhere 2016 on Garilum, it was the first time the board Yoto, board Adio. So when Bulutu do, could you have board as a good culture? In board it won't there. It okay, your council in Gato. I think possibly they had some power Chiraka board. That 2016 to Yulung baby, board of it all. Utambe board of Bea Louis 1 year. Board of Bea Dung after election, the board will remain for a year. They buy. Very board you did better buy. So that worked very well for the first term. Bulutu do because when Bulutu you bet Bulu get here, board don't run one. Now the accident happened here. Kijila Gor, who cake or by achieve lum, Ajala wood. Cake or by achieve lum, if a board be adum, a mukta 1 extra year after election. Lakin, Achila Gorge 4 years. So, when Bulutu you bet who don't board for 1 year. Who don't bring one, like a buy. Now, border 2020, our board started 1 year after Banyan Bulumanya. So, now look, we election in 2019, 2022. Go down Rungero. Now, the letter, Kitigor, who is spirit, Kirikor, Bilum Loy, the Kitigor, I love what. So, to not bring that to you Kansas City on Guerrilla, I get a Dongani, Kayle board of Yajar 1 year after election. So, now, 2023, Kilurana Jamu will board of Yajar 1 year after election will wait you Michilagabe. Kulorana Jamu will get a Kitigor, board bear one, Yama Wichija. So that became a very big debate in 2023. That became a very big debate. Now that debate in wisdom, my book settled. It was our intention. Book that debate book settled one Kansas. One Chiwola Rochester. But I'm about Biango. What do we want to achieve with it? Do we want to say that board about don't 1 year after election? Then we can book your go now. We will write it exactly like that. We will board about we serve 1 year after election. We will buy. Nanong de derbu gare ke bitwi jo will be already. So board a chiro approve do theudi. Ke jidong way ke kira noen. Ye jidong way. A time about what is it? Is it going to be 4 years flat? Or is it going to be be board we serve 1 year after election will buy? We hope that the canoe will inauguration. Then possibly we will settle that. With the other general of it. Now, you will board of 1 year after election. Then we will not have a choice. We will vacate next year. Now, no, there is a garden alone, then get to Chitui Garen and get the book interpreted, and then we will act on it the way in Betuila garden. So, time board that or a good thing a Chitui Jagam.
Okay, and thank you, Ben. I think we quite I can attack a pin of it. Board every thing one ngар we gonna nga ju ke mamaret. Uka well cake away. Number of 5 people actually big election chilgiti chile bugger more of Jopia. But before we will breakdown, go over conto, catch a loy away board. board and a lot of things you can introduce uh, during this election can, and I believe that then Kelly one there. Nang voting card one cha lo introduce kini leader. Voting card kena ka ko bal pa ni twi. Yung opya de ku yung right de. Because I believe nang ko ke lo ka right. Ku ka nang point ni ke lo ka right. But pia de en ka ba lo ke ye ban cha ni ka lo introduce. Voting card kena le pa ni twi ko ni de.
Thank you. Voting card election 2016 ka lo ka live, so I don't know how it was conducted. Lakin kiri 2019 lo ka jaban anyi jwar. Kiri 2022 lo ka jaban. I was part of the board. So I can jwar lakin ana to anje I involved in conducting it. 2019 to 2022 Kichara loy after registration. Registration kene loy. Uju tu jela treasury. Now, rana jo benga ID de. Kubogo luen anga kono yak. Kalas then kerin kuyina koy obu jola tin bugo jola ko release kan buga tem ko on the register. Sajjar na beran der jola kono yak wala ben ba den origin kor bay ko du. Kega bugo mi ngi yini ci kon char won so yin bugo ko. Now, when we did that in 2019 and 2022, it became challenging. I can bring grant, bring ga ko ibugla ko release ni nyaka can buga do ke chugo belo we tui la ke chen ka ji tui ko ni mi tui ko jogo la tin ke chol ren ngare like that ara be ko chwan. So 2019 wo je be ga result kele ke ta diak if ti chen ta ngwan mi adur. 2022 wo je be ga ko hola je be ti to ko taro. So hol atiok to ku tiok nu ku jogo ballot papers ballot box jogo jor ku jura ko en ganisa result ke 2022 I think I chol ke ta ber mi adu ke ta dro. So what changed in this election? What changed in this election era anaga kin makarafon be lungu ko choran gulele ngere ba be chwar. So yung check na ware voting card the voting card is not any magic, you know, it's not magical in any sense. So the only thing to war election is about if ko be chorin yang ba be chwar inga war. How did it change it? The voting card will one in wisdom. And then your serial number in the nyake. So naba kuchawarin bujabai chakanu bujabai kuchuku tingin number 500. Keran mulis ajo liza je go liego karale serial 500 ko lo girin bunyi. Kujo card je dong kujora chwar. So we introduced the voting card to make it easy. I can bring the quite bigger auto. That is the only thing we did. Simple. Kato in wisdom. Now Corba policy we introduce. Kiran, you have to first debate with yourself. Right. So we debated with ourselves before we introduced this voting card. Yung piade, we look at the election very fast. What about the real talk of the talk? Yung right there. We look at the mar. Kunale mar. Kula ben rejuar ko bo legu yini yinti juar because kada chala more. Kiyin chukudulumu. But since it is going to be very difficult, more than 90% of the people we can kill more. Which means koi be kill more abaya minority, abaya koile. Ku koi be kill do abaya majority. So the election is going to be easy for the majority. And the minority you do, inga be you lose struggle can yen. So therefore we say, na chaka nu chakla more, kin chu pen chwa lakin we implemented that in real time because I live ti on gulo na jaka no la mori in chu pen chwa ke kala rare itene
Yeah.
la ram ben mi ga kilwe ga jama. So if you people were asking kulela kuna lema, and my response was simple, you know, my response was rather simple. You with the me logi imu mapare do na iwo ku ananga ya idisku ananga ker kunga ben ter kunga ya ambo ke ku ka ka dia chingamar lakin kanti ni triji lwela lo mat ke mapata yenga bajola charo ku jola ben, are we being serious? And it is something you are going to hold for only one day, you know. So kichi karwar kan do we think that here serving the purpose? I think so, because the 1,017 people on Twitter, that 1,017 people on Twitter are actually in 2 hours and 30 minutes. 2 hours 30 minutes. So I think I think the kind of care delivery. You know.
Okay.
So kiji be jobe alo a challenge. I think wujula gawa read request. Ku gawa jola gawa request. I think the next team be election should have a solution for it. You know, because 4 hours ago that was too long. I think we spent over 3 hours. And that was quite long. So there should be a way that need to be reduced to less than 1 hour or thereabout. You know, so that was that is what the card was about. Kuyira and 2019, 2022. Kikin got by the chol kerin nerune, were kanwan. A chin majing there chulo.
Bany, I think Pia Denga with a queen, and we believe a che koi konya tati. The thing is, here tanga on gonna, I think, cut on because you will register on Saturday. That should be the time. Suppose when debate loy, but debate can be because people were cogolo verification. Do you believe if actually?
According to the schedule.
1 minute, lot wengo banyan.
Yeah. The debate is supposed to be a Sunday one. So the debate was not supposed to be Saturday. Kikin debate be jalo I kangaro. One, a condition of the hall. Hall I check repeat. So making people debate would have been difficult. The second thing, who would go? Na chakaman who candidate to Dutch Ben? Edu chuku debate jalo road. But who would go? And it did not happen by surprise. It took campaign managers. Kulirguna like a go. Ke wo kadang wuchi debate chukubulo. We are not going to hold the debate. So that one did not come as a surprise to non cake. So those were the two reasons. Lakin, I go back to Saturday. Cool verification. The verification was very painful because some of it is down to our preparation as a team. Some of it is on me because we started the verification process. Kujal, and I'm a Now, you're my team. We struggling to read the cards, and the card is a print in India, and the rest of the team members. Very difficult for them to read what was printed on the card. Because I just bring the Korean. So one of the takeaways is that the next time you're supposed to print it in uh, I can be verification be easy on verification to logic on two election. Verification is supposed to pernam on benang work di na computer de chok ko yera na ye ben gule tam de ni loy verification. That one was down to our preparation go we did not do very well there because a good some of you and we would answer jodi automatic. I think the atem yeah. You know, can do cool verification, and it helped me a lot. You know, so I actually realized that the verification did not even need ask what you talk about. Key or bus, I can't think a computer engine. Key the jaga core, quite here, we get exactly young loy. You know what we are doing and how it is being done. Could you pay? You know, could let it in loy verification for people. And you do in the morning, you can't do it. So the verification was painful to a lot of people. Lakini yenge yaka sometimes democracy is not cheap. Democracy is also not painless. You know, so it's painful. It was painful for us. You know, I can even confess for that day we did not go for lunch. So it was a painful process for a lot of us. You know, but yeah, everything we are improving on. In terms of verification, we have a lot to improve, especially next time.
Thank you banya yen deng yen tau ta go ting man ko ju da lui ka appreciate but do na ti lo debate out e ko lu yen le ben vote kwal le ben election le bu kwal yen giti chan ran deng le be ko nyola be ma le bu ka ran deng la jor ku ka chi le ba ben le ka che e yin nga kan kana e kre chi ko lo ku man na chi ko yen giti apet ay ban ton garang biure le yen 1 minute ko ke the term to ko ke doro ay ke loy la bu chwa yen
Yeah.
giti I think a chi pan to chi agree to it and korean be jo ba to next e buku daman at least buku do jagol yen deng li wo jam din why yung kene debate loy and I believe it might be kichir giti baral ba jangol je loy ge ye ban debate which was supposed to be at least be braro le ko be manifestos ke be ke lwel why yung ene ba ne ko be pengen den ta den ne ko ke na ping wan tv den yin debate ya ke road bello alu be ya result to ka ki para le bango ke je lwel ge ban ke na ba
Yeah,
ne
like I said earlier, the debate could not happen for two reasons. One major reason, one major reason were a condition of the hall. The condition of the hall was not favorable. You know, because I jam aside, because I chirping, could debate and a lot of sharing, and then a lot of cheering. You know, because I get mang kung. So we thought, now we debate below. The condition of the hall is not going to allow candidates to can pick a thing up yet. Second, today we talk a chukutaga you will ya wo candidates abu kon yen daman. Brang de ni ko bu ti ko lwe ku joga be jalu debate. Now, looking at the condition of the hall, ko jay bene ke jigaw. We thought lwe ku kalas ke buku loy e buku candidate buku yen minute can bran lu struggle. Bran lu struggle ke ping tene yepen. Ku wara le be jam to ke wede chi. Na debate ga lo gudi so alo gudi ko chira pe ka bet ke chingu lo ko ni. So what we are going to do candidate ka buku yen daman. Bran buku den bu ti bla. And then now, we will be able to go from there. Kugani wisdom yenga chuku beloy. So na ye conventional way on ye to yellow white in ke 50 minutes on chuga yen ke ga chan be rang den bu tu bilwele de ke mu baga. The 50 minutes ke ga de ke debate yo loit. Kuna lo gon ke debate ke yi secretary chi be jam yi ke danga chi be jam yi secretary chi be jam
Deputy.
yi deputy chi be jam. So kien bi loy ki a tinge le bi loy chan be that efficiency betaw ku bi improve even a cool ye koy lo election bi be ke cool debate ku bi a loy at least before kin go let chwa benang de chene manam tin ku loy a deal ke physical location meeting bu candidate bi ya flying there in 2019 actually loy ke Texas, so that one was done. In 2022 it did not happen. The debate actually loy hole ku debate on Iowa 2022 was good. So the sound system was okay. So there is no reason a debate couldn't have been done. So here we were a little bit struggling with two factors: time, kuja condition of the hall, and the fact that Koja European Hall was the primary issue.
Okay. Thank you, Ban. Yen ke kan yen wo bu jol loñ pe man on how election was conducted. Kujala on support Ben Ngara Loy or candidate. Kere yen to the triban siman yin ka muk bylaws ka ban tui bylaws ki ita tuwar ka ke bylaws ki chin minimum or maximums of candidates suppose big run for the president. She
No,
told
Aliu.
so
All the 1,000 of us could have run.
okay pan tui lew no mien any number ran if you don't ko be kum allow ko be ben.
Ile bitu jowar. Una kenga war. Kran if you tongal le bitu loy allow. Condition ye gata ke tui achi condition number limit. Condition ye tui ta condition chike jam gule me jibda badel karpen. Condition ye tui ta e condition jam gule yime candidacy fee abagdel karpen. Condition ye tui ta e condition jam gule yime dial nang leadership experience. You know, leadership experience in this case means you know the call I mean you call in a community based organization, which means in one of the two level is either a level certificate, you know, Chiman around one the former director the communication tree, Mabior, for example, you know, I don't you see. So now this certificate one, the non certificate here demonstration on Louis and Yen could be that certificate could allow by recommendation. Because that certificate is the proof of his leadership experience, the Chilupi community. You know, we would say the same thing about Danagiel, Kuja, Konagaranga, or Abu Danaway. Nano certificate here demonstration Yen on Chelui body. Then I get recommendation better coroner. Because you need to have leadership experience. Leadership experience, not just proof of leadership experience, you are good. So rich in who you are paying. Proof of leadership experience, okay. You can run. In fact, one in this election, we put in another small condition. But that was from us, that was not from the bylaw. And between my must be 30 years and above. So about one in wisdom in with you come back. Lucky, you live all there, God. But we were praying that anyway, all the candidates anyway, and so they easily met that criteria. So long limit on how many candidates case of Webeka. The what we be at debate for this year. We just work or book candidates are book limit to this number. Because between you know the primary unit of getting a candidate. You know, Because really candidate, we are one candidate, Papayam. Okay, that's the decision after that. Because really we are one candidate for political formation, and so they will decide and restrict the political formations to maybe 2 or 3. That is a decision they can make. But I can any maximum number of candidates suppose the car will be checked at live.
Okay, and thank you, Ben. In okay, in the ngot on that. What are the qualifications apart from Tanang experience? Aliban experience in my and quite the cops ya label pantry. So my experience are two pin a mat nang tadang yi class in the con my that's experience on leadership. What are the qualifications? You look around, you qualify, Changaja Benke ye ban pantry.
I think the next thing le bicho will qualify de kada. Okay, we win. That's all. In terms of qualifications, it's really very easy. Oh, the other thing is high school diploma. You know, I have high school go in a fit, but to even mine. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you for that. You can
Yeah.
maintain the better how to registration fee.
Mhm.
For example, that bay one of it, and I wish I will not mention that. Registration fee kapane tui in any deadline near town. The be it will in registration I ran registration the bay at this time. Kikan consequences became low face. Randing a little bit registration fee jola bay. Kan nga den court. Daman den court nga ban for example, I will one I'm not sure of it. Ban Mabior. Ake registration fee ka ken ga doj bay ba wan yen ka ken go go jo gam we kumer ken later de. Achan be ya ban kiti chi le na guideline le ko lo guide through that acha registration ini ki choi man pan tri ba jalo tu.
I think by registration you mean membership. The membership, the three a Paul B. Gadan, even the Albiacor. So it's a twofold kind of a thing. Be the Albiacor. Why is it twofold? It's twofold because Abibanyabiti Kujogam. So no around Tijukurangame. Okay. So sometimes we need to understand that we in the morning, all of us go to Loy, and you are going to look for money actually. Lucky number membership is very least on the list. Actually, one of the reasons you will find your bullet is really very major releasing. You know, major. Kuman Mayen, it needs some extra work from the leadership. Because you are teaching, remind you, so that you know this one, okay, it should be on your list now for you to do it. So I cannot blame one person for something that should have been done by two. You know, can you ding hit Kulera Bay? We are by the way, there is a queen you know ding you the chairman of your okay. So now Canada Loy, could you really re-election? That I don't get it. I don't agree with that. Because one person is failing here. And they want the rest of the people to come and help them do their job. Come on, do your job. Okay. And Mandiamo, as we speak, Mandiamo, I chill long jam, Lula membership, the panel to you, can you drop in a courage? Kinchi got a live. Kito, a guideline can I run Louis election a big town. So, Koi or guideline, Koi Louis election a guideline, big town. ku je lu cool be wa application receive final day be wa application receive cool joy kan ku cool akor ba all the requirement ba ke tiang to kor ba to gi ku char mun te akor ba wurin dun school ba be akor ba all your team members ba ta on the list ku ba application dun be ke so nano when do it we can charping kubo you charping together with the candidacy fee which will make like any
Okay.
why because we are assuming one of you was at fault kikini we would charping 2 years ago before election one of you was at fault is either you can with gam ke chitwi or you tweet on kin do ti we one of you was at fault kuna jo le yin wisdom bu lu ben yengana go wa yekini we do gam kuin lu bu ko lu ke Pedro took a look in them. So we end up not bothering about that. And then we take your application as you bring it in.
Thank you, Ben. But do you think you're supposed to bring more extra power based on that? Lebeke Ranti, what is qualified? I'm a Lebeke later day. John, on your side.
Wisdom. Na luel ku kada. Na luel ku manu ku luel ku wobe. You know kaya binder in wisdom. Kaya binder is because kaka pirga de actually ke legislate. Kaka or pirga. Kaka actually gada ben er to along it. It become very difficult. Yenga ye banjota. So kaka gor kili ulung it yenga ye banjo kwa. Bi banjo la dan ku to it. Na je kili ulung it joban kay blow yedi. Kaka je banya je kada. Kaka je banya je loy. So as we speak, na loko tin buku ki ku ting ben ke radio wo ku ke radio ting buku gar pin ben ke banya twi ting e ba kwanyen ke loy ku bas wote e ke yen ya longa te ku wochen ku te ku hote loko ye kwet na cha tieng na cha kwen chira pin ki loy ko twi ku chin ban mere kwan so chan buka jo ai ti ku le wisdom be wo ku inga ko ngara nga ko jo kwan inga lo ne a ti lo la wisdom bu da ba lakin cool me with bay bijolo alundu bijolo nu yin bay but wisdom jura ti with bay cool kor so kiti let's keep it open you got better banya kwa
Thank you, Ben. And we call the question kunti penya we bake gam damanamat and question dun ko bati ke ti and bandut kere en to ki en bati man ku buku ba gam bring tin ko ku buku jala du chen after the break question kuna baga ben abake ben lo for war tong ban so we ko ki garan question de ku ka ba ben le ban question man there before we will break lo yung jo mer banye bi pane tu jo nang ko ke di jo kar rana bi tong ko ke di ko ga bo pan to ko ga bo tane ke ye director of the board yung mer to tin man ban and I can see ran ko la din banda bay ay mum to ai che beli yung med banye jare de chi ko ta chi no banya ni are special banya ni US den ku jala banya juba yung jimi red
wisdom ana ke se sin lang ke se sin luen no
ye dia je kan
you know se sin ku bi ke be kar ke ye be luen le kada ke ba luen bai inga ye luen and you end up banya polo kako kati banya polo sadu banya polo weku lakini alama kana polo lum ku luelen leyin bain lum leyin bain kor can you become a politician in fact politics The literal definition of it is that politics is the art of making a selfish interest appear public. Let me rephrase that. Politics is the art of making a selfish interest appear to be like a public demand. Now, ba jolo kada, ba jolo tin. Tiasa. Kedun korba yutin. Kedun korba yutin. Yang ejo bol ko kudi korjun. Kujira la jur kudele ke karba belo yutin. And you actually make it appear like a bankor a chikatin ba yutin. Kedun nga karen. Which is a lie to some extent. Now, ke kwa wan kat kedich. Kutira na deal. Kaya chile, lakini ngi yen. Aja nang what reason? Kede ni ngi ke biyo banyi. Ben jur biyo luwe ku kena biyo ler pande. Ngi tin beler pande at the end of the day. Ke beler pande inga che kelwel, abalwel.
You know.
In wisdom. You know bujur nyuj. Waya ju nyuj ketia. Rana bira jo biar. Waje luela ko yabe makara polo mana ngabu ku. Kena chi ko. We call that social capital. Social capital. The social capital. You know koi?
Yeah.
2003. Pay tier kutak. Mama aja ben kakuma. Boku je jala kakuma jala loki ulau kair tiele panyangor. Kona nga pay ke nga muke. Ta pay ka akin ba le go ben go kele go ko lom ku jole bay. Ku jugula jal bay onyan kayatom. Ola ben panyangor. Achan bugo pay on kima magaler bugo beji jor ga go paket. Na bigo kujelo ku jar ko paj kam yi panya gur kene pa wele ngarel ingerial lakin yine ben ki kwan chanum pa wel na wawa ngale kilo ni piwi so wo ben lo ku jar panya gur ku pa wel o jar ku pa wel ya ku o lo ku tolo bu piwi je wangule tar ya ku na hir ku pa de loy ko bo ju lo tieng nam yo ba pe ko jo kan mi chan bu kon ju lo e ke bi ju jar pa de loy bur bu gor pa liaw e piaw ni ne ben gen ko mo nya wulen rana cho ma jok yan kaya tong on jewa je bit ya wulen so ngi atong no isakane lakin ma jok e cherin ke ro bon ma jok tibat bo je uti ya mi ti ngalo pa liaw e bo lo mi rana cho la ja ka ja a ja ba ke je pio mi ya pe cherin mo ke kan nge no ko ma jok bo ke bang ti ne pa ngamu ko ke ngamu bo pe ke ko ka ne no ulo yu dur ko ja kwan chuk ja cha chu ko bu bijo ba pe ke bijo kan min baliao ko ta bo baliao bu je kan min baliao le ba ke ju lo ba pa ju jor ja ka ler bai yu ngu cho ma ju ga pe ke so jol ka betul ba wai ba yur atu on yen ni to ni go la mai yen ge jam le yin jur yim la mai to ni yin jur yim la mai won yin ngai ma la mai won so runiye ma juran sai alu ele no nga pe chi ba ba lu ya wulet ke je la pay back e ko le so ba ni ya ina building social capital alu ma mare ba ga ne wa alu ele ga le won yen ma biyor go le ma biyor na kana we go pinnam kana ga pin kurin ga ur gan jarin ga ur re ko gibe jangule la what yere ga wan hodi but what they don't know is that what Mama Rebecca has chosen may not be money but it's social capital because Mama Rebecca libi jale juba kana Uganda ko ci kura mo nyama nangu sabeni mini bin wena Mama Rebecca je ben ngumu sabeni kan ngi ben loy bin gule kamat and that is the same thing happens to her in Kenya regardless of who is the president whether ye Moi Kibaki ye Uhuru Kenyatta wele ye William Ruto Mama Rebecca does not need an appointment at Canberra Kenya all she needs a phone call and the president will drop everything else he was doing. That is social capital. So, in wisdom, man, when you could tell you, I tell you, when you go to get a hakai. That is the child when you go gap. Why?
Yeah.
Because we are building a social capital, you know. So, I ain't hearing what I'm willing again, man. You see, the social capital in the Pandu. If you are trying to build a name. And building a name is not very cheap, it's very expensive. I can't be Mabior, you are building the name, anything that you get a bunch of. It cost him 21 years in the bush. It's not cheap. It cost him be a poor, can PhD. You know, you are still in poverty, Queen and PhD. Could you could have taught anyway. You know, a little PhD in America, we like a liberation of Sudan at 10. We appear the Jamia, we encounter on Toger and did the career. Like if he did that, if he made that choice, cutting them and the Chima.
Yes.
A key robbing Museveni. But he chose to build a social capital. So social capital in the duty, can you do machine? I have a lot of body gumbrala. You are trying to build it. You know? Like I can bring good Ethiopia. You have to combine it now with the you buy. There are some people because buying a thing. Right? Buying a thing. You see? So Kapia the Ban Kutaka Marine. Kirin Bukajo Guaban. Lekin, if you came to build a name, building a name, how nice your name sounds depends on what you deliver. And that delivery, Yenke social capital. Now to conclude in wisdom.
Yeah.
Manjaman Wina. Rana Joram Dunmaganam. 2023, by there, I did not vote for him. I campaigned teeth and nails to make sure I'm doing we wouldn't get with him. And after the campaign, he called me and I told him, no, so I take no objection anymore. You know, I can get down to up. Now, we are on Dut-machine. We need wisdom of coin. We need your young one on the finish. I don't do it. I tell you, people headache and go walk you will move up for a bunch of headache. The only thing we can do, I know they're going to name by.
Yeah.
Why? Because you know, budget and a billion, you know. Now, we're not going to MP3. Could I anchor MP? Karok is not going to explain himself the way I would explain myself.
Yeah.
Abiaro gal will wait to you and you are going to get a bill of Yaki. For me, I'm a tree joy, you will twin that Tinga Chinaya. Najaka Unica about you. We have to manage that thing with Kinakonti. We are do the kilo getting difficult. So, Manek will do that for MP3. I will be the first person that can support the dialogue, but take Bijan. Kubu Julia Tiro, watching you call it. You buying a building in it. In the lake.
Thank you ban. Yen kana ekrman tin chine ban jat pio ga ya lo wan ni. We chwer ga ban ye jam kana ga da ko lo wo ko. Ku ka
Mhm.
chi ban ye lo kana ga bala lo. That's the difference. Thank you so much
That's the
ban.
difference.
Yeah, I man I'll give you a little break. And then the binaro la choy piu ku bu ja ban dutin. Wo ko da question kun ban ku jana question kun ba ga lo prepared. Abaga ban jala baga ban jati ban after the break. And thank you so much ban. For for being here. We wo bu jula twin.
And a good.
Ande ku chu kun vet. Menga tema ke jal. Menga tiba ke jal. Nenga tiba ke jal be nai ke kan ping. Wana kul ke leadership pa na tui. A je chel e gul welien innovation da. Abata o ke chi pa in tie ko tok pa tie. Yene ka be innovation lo nai ran kenen ping ke kana kar ko balakin yen kwen a ti chwar chien. Wana kul ka ban du ka che kwen a dang pa ne juba cái nin ki ka lot of leadership a lot wen ban du ka che kwen cái ka ne new leadership pa ne du pa ne bor county a je ban ne je ka kwan ki di wa ne en jel to ke en jel ti between Elijah Manyo ku je la dictor Elijah Manyo en ka che pion pa ne bor en ka chel we win ku en ke ban pa ne bor ne man ne ka bu jo ting da man be ne kwen ban ne use pa ne tweet jang tu in che video aneng spending che loy ku spendi a che jam about binding junior I will binding junior kenen kon yop min leren bani wa che kweng man atenen almost by get yak min te we ne binding I will dan ban kon grang da ko ya kenen kon a kenen kon yop ku ke ban e tui yen yongo yongo chike ga ni yo ko ga chi de luyen and then junior made a response ay den junior lela cái quy coi cho bài yên an bánh coi cái juba and then che ban ko to bai only 10%, 90% of my work about to juba, 10% yen ka to ti a chi den junior che dia dia deng da yen a chi yaran bo kaman yen jam yen bogol no loy era no ni yug bai ku ne den ko be ni kun yen ke jam lu le yen ko nyen ye kana e kana a chi den junior che lu and I think kijana li a che jam yen lu le ko nak dictor tonago ai ko ga den junior wan en ju lu support ko we bor yen a chi wo ben no a chi wo cho la kwa ni ban che ne ban da a lui mi ga ni ga bor i dun machine a lui ga blame re en yo ngo we wo be ben no e support ba to chin wan ma en an video tin den chu sa kle re an men tin to pa nya gor a che bor a che loy bon ni en ring en bon a che mi ta ning engine e ta pi wi we tin ji bor da dil that is technology den to pa nya gor pa ni tri kana ko buku ko bu lo support dan yen to ya dan pan South Sudan watch nang border dispute pan de Kenya pan Kenya tapota kan Turkana achi aga nang mishkila but wing wan ti lo ka ji pizza chi lo ku pin den kana ayelwela border den border yi tapota kana 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 Turkana narapal ku narapal ye lwele pan de na ja ku we ko ko wan to ti narapal ye pan Kenya ama pan South Sudan lazima ke dan ke wani border dispute dan Uganda je ke Uganda a je ke South Sudan to border ni na ke ben mo pe ku kana achen response from the government chilwela this time akaki ai pan South Sudan ye gamala je da red yin yung lo road yung respond ban dan yal ne tar ke ambedin tina ba pol ko buku ban Dut-machine buku jalwa welcome back from the break. Hello, good to prepare. Bany welcome back. Yen ambe lo comment. First comment jamet na. Yen support batin. Era ni choy era ni choy ton beauty. Ayelwela batichin yan. Can we put a age limit for the running president to 45 years old? Biarun getro terwan kudi lotwing ike bea kum le brotau gati e banton biur ke bele ne ton garan beauty
tan gran bi de wa dan chi lu lo ki chi thui lu le ka lu le nga ya chol ga ku gam thui ku re sau na non ko ye pure yo suppose bitaw ke suppose na age minimum age limit or maximum age limit suppose being to ya mai ka lweran ku yin boda bu be gar ngo bula chol tu ko le ko je tu na mar bu lo mu ke chal tu mai ro be chal na jira pya ke tu ka bu ka ma jira rai ke ka be gre so I don't have I cannot dictate that
Question then ay majong lwala ye lwela. My question to Bandu, why 2 years community association is important to keep it in US kuchokulu focus on to achieve something that can benefit us as a community in America. Jakui, question
well
can
I think that question is more for the executives than for the board because the executive kai lwel ya por jang choy kana yo kor bu loy tan wala por jang kana kor bu loy bai ki yo go approve por jang jibai and so I think that question is more to koi kar big bani to kor rather than koi project be approve and I think bani watch for example lal bulu ma nyogon mayen tui alebe gam alebe niar lwe gana kri tui ka yi America lakini wisdom inchi yigire mo sejba aja bay in kon pir ko kon men be bu yi lal bulu ma nyok for example was a crisis leader when it was the man toy bani his leadership was all handling crisis it go a crisis about it go a crisis la chin it go this crisis chi other crisis so na jok 1 million jok lo bu kuro tu chi ke chi crisis a chi pa de chan be yi America reason being na lo yi America ku tu ya to piwi ke ko ya to so you cannot choose to do a luxury to no we jel ni we ya to you see so sometimes leadership of America or Australia or Canada be machaki la wa na America ku le lui ka bai is not necessarily chikurbu lui America they possibly really want to lakin lui handle by the crisis e ke ben ngada we you know we are to and so you don't even have a choice you see yin ya lui in wisdom kin ko no ran chi kon yo ku le gan ke ja yo pe ko pe ni na ko na be pe ru kilo mi du no ko pata lo ke den lo to ai mo be ni ju it has happened. It has happened at the individual level. It can also happen at the organizational level. You know? Yeah. So budget to the one, of course. Crisis get a little bit. A can be an crisis the on a board, your Bible. You know? So he put some money away. And that's possibly why is now able. And then we'll be again to come at it to you the dog center. You know? So that's how it is. So, America going home, regular point by is not necessarily that I man or I Louis Gakin. It's simply because it is being dictated by the nature of problems. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nang rani choy gang damatiang. Ay was there any reason yene ke age restriction in it 30 and above? Then any reason in it out in here?
Yeah.
What was
Wogo you that is a wogu chwarti. Because Banyati ko kida, Banyati ko mai. Ko mai. There is one thing before King Jam because learn to a bang in wisdom.
Yeah.
Learn to a bang what kind of God. Learn to a bang ki chol thing but you know, you get to can I do, can I do? And so I can but will you take be you willing. Attaining a certain age is very important. You could be very wise. ile baneng a lot of wisdom lakin ajalo lang tara mena wang le
Yeah.
yo ibol mo nyang do ra nyu yi ma nyang de biar nyu je benen sultan ga gen mu nyak taka man chin ben america wi ji pie ulo jo le ka lwel ke before kini na gol yimu we na riya je go ko wara ki be ben be kana nga yene ye le me nga yene ye chot twen ya na lo le ka lwel ba wel ba ka tek kera na ting ali bi go ting run jaga de run ne ka tek wera de you know so anan de levante ko welfin tra de chin jam tin wisdom konan de der be ra ga be ko na ga ko welte tra de chala jam tin and because ka wo ye ga dan ka wo ye community banye mu wel ko te ga de iran tu ti kwan gi banye tu yi nga wel ko te o de yogo diar yogo mit yogo rote yogo ko dir now rana yi jo ko ram bi ko dir jula twen bir yo by the level of age ga de ku ka bi ko ji dun kina bir yo nga yene age limit nga yene yeta nga wel is not easy we nga lon to nga ban
I na ke 30 years I believe being that running 30 years a little bit experience yes but topin nang ran will yung chin ya 40 years lo twen in be ban
I'm open
what
to
is
that yogo chora
yeah nang ran dang di yung maximum le ran le kum ran run ke di akar ran chi le ba kum ran run ke di yeah
you know mostly ki choy lung ya solving a problem that is there my problem liu ke ga chi lui solve problem to man the problem ko chi wisdom le ke bi ku mi ngata ku problem ko chi 70 years wa kwa bi ku mi liu so we should be able to solve that problem to chen ben ya lakini ma liwe ne ko ajira nan 60 or nan 70 years ja pinga ko bi ku so sometimes you might overthink and then you bring a law long land video to bugu jiten ku ga chinga kun ku ga chinga na so we will solve that problem when we get there now we don't have it.
okay and then jam den na ma ke je really in le board of directors le benang any le benang primary le ke lo recommend to the president na ning candidate to be for example ke wan tro loy le benang ke lo ke we board
There's nothing impossible. There's always something somebody can do. The issue is when you want to do it, how do you do it? Not that the issue. Okay. If you look at the three candidates, Kepana lead one, for example, you could look at them in two ways. One way is to look at them in terms of Payam identity, in which you would scale it down. And so that's one way you could look at it. And in that way, if you want to institute Payam primaries, based on that formation, that is one. Second, you could look at them in terms of political formation. And in terms of political formation, there's one person run one vision. which later became One Vision in Progress. And these other two people are called TCU, which later resulted to TCU for all. In terms of political formation, for example, Ibn Mabior Daguna Konagarang, Kudana Giel, kin voters get here. If you look at it from the point of political formation, because we like it, whether we like it or not, there are fundamental differences politically. Political fundamental differences between TCU and One Vision. So when we looked at these people, technically, Kayi Kunagarang, Kanadana Giel, Kagaga Tir voters, Kagaga Tech voters. Loima Buridao, Kanajanga Jagadon, Kagaga Tech voters. So Yena Llewellyn could really be restricted in terms of Payam identities. Then how would you reconcile the political differences? You know, there is a chance that Late Payam could have voted. We had done a Kiali in ticket, for example. And there is a chance that Koige One Vision to Late Payam couldn't have voted for that. It's possible. There is a thing about it. Kenya primaries, low in wisdom. I quite take voters can we consolidate. Kenya primaries low. Kunachin voters they go in. Then why should we go for primaries? So if we look at it in terms of political formation, there are candidates in Litpayam who did not have anything, who did not share voters. Ngaganang voters. Kuna chinga chika, these voters may be able to Quran they may be not vote for you. Yeah. So what will the primaries achieve if you were to do that? So that's one argument. The other argument could be, okay, now that we have it like that, let's then restrict the political formations. Maybe okay. Now you have One Vision in progress. You have TCU for all. You have Otosa, and you have two United Independent Citizens. Now you go we will restrict the formations to only two. And then we will tell everybody to find a way of aligning with these two. Could these two can be our constitution recognized? And so now we are one of the two parties. Okay, then which one becomes unlucky and which one becomes the lucky one? Now, how do we decide that one of the two parties is going to be Otosa? How do you decide? Do you sit down and dream and then go and decide about Otosa? You know? Or are you going to have a fundamental formula? But then, that formula you are trying to propose, is it going to be acceptable to all? Will it be acceptable to all people? So, this one is a very technical question. But we is a community of people who are full of wisdom. I am happy to facilitate the debate. If there is a way people want it to be done, I'm happy to do it. Again, like I said before, there is a disclaimer out there. So, if there is a way we can do that, I'm happy to pose the question. And this question will possibly be one of the things we will talk about. Lakin, the basic formation will need to be defined. What is the basis that we are choosing to restrict the number of candidates to? Do we want to restrict them based on political formations? Or do we want to restrict them based on the payam? Now, can be restricted based on payams. That one is very simple to do. Again, very long tree. Luela banya payam inga be recommendation abe. And that is going to be very easy. You know? And so banya payam is going to decide in akat. Now, if banya payam luela Kenya inga kat, then that become law. You know? So that is very simple to do. Lakina luela can be restricted based on political formations. We will have to decide. Out of these 5 parties, that one is a decision you can make. Between that, go figure it out and let me know.
Thank you, Ben. Ini kita ni kan. Ini aning 2 more question coba Ben mantin. Ayo Ben. Jeme di wa yelo yen. If possible, le bag space bag loy create for primary ke wa ye board. Le bag loy. Ke ini kena aja aku ya. Kalau yang watching any power to add anything or to remove anything.
We cannot create anything. The only thing we can do on law is to facilitate a debate. That's the only thing we can do. So it is up to Tweed to try and create a space for primaries if they want.
Okay. Ye James Ding, a little Mr. Machine. Do you believe that Twitch should be divided into 2 parties? Can I accord a personal opinion, though, but okay.
Unfortunately, at this time now, position T2 does not permit me to have a personal opinion.
Yeah.
I should only speak to policy. So, my personal opinion of you ping the GM board. Personal opinion of this.
And the thing is, dude, now watching 5 political parties to party US and Ugaki. I believe blame so betaw ko betaw banyakum ko banya temedengo to allow this be up and party. I believe political parties that temedengo is controlling TCU. Ukanang former president ye Louis Twitch One Vision control. So that they get in much power. So the whole person supposed Beny towards a board. At least could be kind of a matter. And will happen in that way. So how do you see? Do you accept the blame of having too many political parties, or the government?
Well, we could take it either way. As a leader, you take blame for everything that people believe went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, something going wrong is one thing, and believing that it went wrong is another. You know, so there are people who believe that the board should have actually policed live videos. We are providing a schedule. We will live, that's how they believe it. You know, the unfortunate thing is that our people, including myself, we like to say, like opportunity. If you are called upon to come and fix, like we said, we need wisdom.
Yeah.
Nobody came. There was only one person. Okay. One person. Lit ran to Kongor, one person. Lakini why was it difficult brand la phone kwa ngule payam ne chomero body back ye dudu fix.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to do it. Kuna lera loy today ngena tin ke lele ka juwe. Aba ko nyadi. Now back to the question. Back to the question. The question is that do they a lot of political parties that you get pon? Big car. In wisdom. Take what your way. Rebel gagiping. Kija ko ya yorwe ina no lungan fair chin force ko ya yorwe. Kijo garang Mabior yorwe e ki arab jam le ran ben go ya lung mai ko ti lung arab nga mai ko ku chi ran ben na arab go jon garang go yorwe. There are communities in the US. Tigayite. Why? Because there is some bogus law. A jam gulula ngay chi le ban ko. Lung kene guira pizza kene guira bloro tani. Gulula ngay chi le ban ko. So when we did this process, there were some people who believed that it's supposed to be koi lui the ban or it's supposed to ban the payem big yen authority. I can be saying yang abukara payam dinu ngay chikat. And what we refused to do in wisdom, we are creating a law that is not there. What we did was to interpret the law. Lung to man yamu in lung 2016 kubera as amended in 2021. El lung jam ke kor ku no ngin iran ko bakar leadership experience. A proof of leadership experience does not have to come from a payam leader. It could come from anywhere. Akini lung well that it has to come from a payam leader. In a law enforce what? Kubu lu ke la ganam. Kulu ele lung at ele taw. Kuloran ti pen bikar banya tui unfairly. Le luer ulure lunga kenan convinced. Kujia me process lo ya chana part of it. Kunyu yunda ko ke di ko ke datam ko ke dor pinga ne yen gulwel ke wo che pare 20 ngada ge musu. So I am happy go he election tui chitok and all the candidates are just accepting the outcome. The alternative was not attractive. The alternative could have been go ke no rana jam gen chilo tui. Emane ga kra ne jam wo to tui wo lo tui. There is a chance the chago kra ne ke no ko jam wo chilo tui. So in wisdom ran ga ka chaman lakin aran the alternative involved I'm happy.
Yeah. And thank you. Nang ran che question che duon ter ba ti which chile ba do benjamin ran ti yo
Well,
mo chen
like
debate. Yo mo
I
chen
question
debate.
two level there video jolo mai.
Yeah, kana buku jo pol ya. Yen ban
Yeah.
I think they are you jala user died na. Who I'll come to that yen ke ti jana ga ben tin man. On in natural jot in the hall ke Bible was big at special ke dior yen ka ga tin. Who unfortunately I cannot be loy. And right now banya lanyal ka bu kwen ni ko jirgeti ko jilu gan de 11 pa tir yen ka ben yen kwen. What direction chaka gam ban yen tongman ma ban kon gran akoy the direction which gam en ben ke dior kwan ama ben dior kwan kan yen ke baba.
Kita long tui ki. Ay long tui ay luel gu luelak diar ke tui ay department. Banyi tui. Prem de tui a department. Banyi tui. Department the all over. Department a cabinet. A wazir. Wazir ka kuma pin nambene banyi ke kwan. Kira jo loy kiyo. Ena jo bany 2015 ke kwaj kwan ke jong le state je bebe da man chene secretary state bebe ku je bany je kira ma yar je le we ko jong le a je donge bor ku tu ku duk we ko bor county ku tu county ku du county la ka bai la tengran tong dunya ga le be ya bany ku la bege go bor county bogo jam gulela ko la manyanga ci jongle kon kum ku randa ko duk jam gulela ton le de ko le ci jongle ci kon kum ku randa we tu we ka ken kon kum jagle pagala dan go tu bogo nyu twin jogo dan ko le ke fele bagor yena ga betla inga beler lakini na ci bijo le ko na ci agor ku ci ban na ya ke koy ko ka bugo taw na agor ci achan be ban bela bijo la kwani kai go koy go taw good enough agor pa nyanga ci ban bigo la nyara ci ban bela kwani e ko won je tuira loy e banya ka je ko ni ko ni ba ko ni gabana bugo ci real bugo gabana kwani ran real by law it on to in the yen kir mayar ngan real ban kwani the way he liked so ban ko ngara koy kunong formula de in bitaw in place achan ben ban dior kwani ke is prerogative real day it does not need to consult anybody not even board because it all long je long le la kunu dior department rana ban department kwani ban tan yal e ore ban lan yal 2019 ke ban wala bunu ma ñok ken ban lo e had a formula for it the formula that you been instituted ku lo formula den go lo ken yen it was good for him atemi de ngango ke and he had a different formula and that formula worked for him kuna gara koy has two presidents now he can choose to go with the formula wala bunu ma ñok or he can choose to go with the formula atemi de ngango or he can create his own formula and that is exactly fine rem I think rem got a little bit proactive. They have been in consultation, especially the leadership and the board, and they reached out. What becomes of us now? And they actually explained that Banjento Yalamana Chicken, Banjento Yalamana Chatham Dingan Panyan. Banjento Yalaman Keka Luigi did recommend. Kulera Anaga Yarkubia Banda. Okay. So they were like, can we elect our leader in 2025? The law does not allow that. A killing upon. So that is not possible. Beer and below through competitive campaign could you require is not possible under this dispensation. Lakin, can they do what they did in 2022? As long as the Chiban gum, no problem. Because what they say in 2022, and then they were able to nominate one of them. Would you like and Bangula and to nominate Bokwanki? Okay, go look up Chola Banyatim Dango with children. A dow and get Hiram Quine, you get two Quine, that's fine. If Banko would like to use the same formula, which an objection go aboard? You know, which an objection? Because either way, the formula is quite a user recommending. Maybe I didn't got me up. If they recommend that, which even the Twitch Lagam, an appointment, because appointment could come through recommendation or come through a direct nomination. If it come through a direct nomination, okay. A department. If it comes through recommendation, okay, a department. 2022, 2019. I can't much will quality require. Kay Banya Diority, a both through recommendation, a representative Chikwanya Banga Payam Gadia. So they came together. Kubo Jagato Mar, Kudera, Maya Banda, quality, yellow Arabu. You know? And then Kudelo Lechan, Ranakabaya Banya, dear. That was also an appointment, but an appointment through recommendation. right? Atemedengame was able to do an appointment without recommendation. A appointment without recommendation, a bunch of appointment with recommendation, a bunch of you. So if Bank would like to do an appointment with recommendation in whichever scenario, that is okay. With an objection.
Okay, thank you, Ban. But I think to a bella bathing. After that, I just think I'm going to near Ban. You can just the in which me are Ban, red gold will get a totin. Ran Ben a core Ban. To my happen, but then call you a core Ban. But then, cái idea, Kulari are no me bay. The Kanichi Lube by Chol Baden, Chamba Bella Bentin go about to solve that.
You know, our people, patience is part of politics. Is because there is a time limit. I know go arun gadi agule tak. Na kira me juba go le garun gero. Ko go la ben. Inga chenero ka yine tinga le bati. Kuna ye forever mane ke de ko ram. Kirma yar go time limit de kiran che go juriye. Re le ga bijal. The problem now, it doesn't have a time limit. You don't know bijal then. Inga tong bay. Kichi lung luen lung to yen lung mai thiro. E jam kulela banyi thi inga bi department nga ba kwenyi. Jela bay ka mi arano. Be patient and wait for 3 years. Chila bay ka man. Be patient and wait for 3 years. So yena lokoy rom nong ngola ter. Should we anticipate that koja lebu rom indeed koja lebu ke koja lebu ter? That's okay. That's fine. Laki ko jo ya ko ko to body. You go willing buku tong kene buku belo. You know in wisdom tong nyu ko. Ke ye lwel ko lwel ka buku wow e ko kuj beto gidi. Nga je jalwe long de ku lwel nga long de ku je tem. When you do not know beto gidi. Lakin kere ra rej banya dior ki banya tuyi kwa. Kura rej banya rem ki banya tuyi kwa. They went to pinangai ko there. So I don't even know why we should waste our time to say. Because the kana beto badanga lo banya tuyi nangi ngai tikilung la. Yira mi jo benga lo cha fiori ha ga banya tuyi ga babe kwa. Ku ke bo be luo e longu tuyi to kuni ti banya yeri al bula kwa ni nga bulung dun belum. Belum be tam ya di. Belum be tam yi no. So the best way in wisdom is to acquaint yourself with the law. Bye to queen, and you acquaint yourself with it, and you start to be okay with it before Kinibankwai. You start being okay. Le Wangera and Kikor, be okay. Le Wangera and Court, be okay. Because in the direction they go away empty, it is killing three lang away bit empty. But long day, you know, long day, but look with your tape. Did you with it?
Thank you. Wait there, I got a ping. Yen bandun na ben bay tong ran ai cho ban ko gran da kai. We bi ko bandun kwantin. Ba ga jala ting. Ne ran nen ko ban ga bandu re le he ba lo ke kwen ke kwan ku before ben e chal. Yen nan ran to pe ni nan big conversation lo ro but I will not give it time. Le bangot ke well. Binding my deck or something like that. Malay bare ni chane kwe chol. The question yin loy debated na achiba nyanchi lwel wonter ku kacha acha lwel. Dari ni kana achi loy answer. Someone ran in a lui gudang explain maran le yin kana achi loy answer is not depending anything. Ukala bing wot ke lwel bandut achan ku buwe pol. Question na won ban. I don't think man buku ba open. But a buku jo pol ya. In egati ka wo bulo kari use it ban. Kari use it gor to wen. credit your bu pol ya bege den jala ting ker user to go to ya article number 7 yen use yen ban use abroad abe ya kwan abe ya chal kan ban alibuto in the line ma alibuto plug whereas ki ke ban but abe ya chal kan ban dio ban use abe ya chal randin ci ben ko ko ban at that time but na ju bela tingi ke wo use ku wo men ran ni ku ran men buwa gam a lot of challenges abe use achieve gam my time to exercise ke joy ko ban achan abia to under umbrella randeng ku kiti le benang ka ju bi ke ka we use on that article le balwe explain tong use ta den nen we ko ben ke luiden balwe explain ku ba question ba ti on that ba ja ti deng malik comment section is free, so you can ask any question to Unkor. Dama your question which I think then, but aba ke kedang lo mat lot wing ban.
ke bana kon ko aneng geden chule deng man mot e jam ten gulele doesn't mean teach laws can be amended longo tu yale be amended ke jemo tin man lung to men before kina men bay okay before kina men bay ke lung to men lung jam gulele banje tu yenga be banje dior kwan wenga banje yu kwan yenga lung to men na lo men jo ben mia ke chu abu ju luil based on kicha amended you know so longo tu yale be amended allow kana gato kijati yin wisdom a che kri long to mane kijati je kri long draft the draft bylaws wan ke jogo lele ga baga ware inge ke juti ulong everywhere they are trying to solve a problem so they try to solve problem liu inge ren ban jo kwan problem liu bu jula ban ku jogo long je liu jogo liu ke lo la ban lo yedi ke je ban je le now uh ke kada ke 2016 on lo ye kada on lo ye lo like I said before, they were about 12, 14. So many of them are very young teenagers. One Korke, the law was blind to them. Long did not even bother to mind about the Jamgulu, the Rembelo Edi, because it's not a problem that existed. Today, that's no longer the case. It's a problem that there is now. And so, long the 2025, we'll have to find a way to Rembelo Edi. Okay. Rem, man Jamwokan. Exclusively, I would say 90% of Kijoiram, I'm Jamer. The rest of you, we're minority. Jamer graduate. So if we go in by census, by population, Iram Gedigatui Gelu, Iram Gedigatui, Kayla Triloy. Again, in my view, that looks like a small number. That is a small number. We need to bind it. We are forming there. Ukarka. Will they be able to handle the financial burden? When in wisdom, will we also say your work is one thing? lakin bi jomal la maintain chan bi pir bas se jon bi pir ko ro chan bi la maintain bi pir akor wo so ye how many take a talk yeram eger people who are able to drive themselves to the venue ben kiram la loitin again majority of you are depending on their parents bigger gear clear cake so when people were thinking about this draft they thought about it in the sense that yen rem akor bi yen ngada rem akor bi yen a transition time because you go talking to your community a good will get up well such that now majority of them can do it majority of them kairo girge pai a keep a minority anymore that is one second how you feel about it in wisdom akara go ku lumen chano ba dai bai ke ga go lel pa kom den won go ko ne la ba ge ting bene wunda merian ko ngi yar ko bio me ke me ya duri bin in terwe
Yeah.
you cannot say the same about me ge jang why because the chiri bai nyaltin where you grew up yingi real yi na mo ya yu yingi real yi na mo nyak yingi real yi jing ye to no real yi jing ye to dungi so I can bring thing there especially me want this American we cannot develop in that level of patriotism I call why it needs work benanga juega tuye na ka bai benanga juega tuye ko ni martin ku jogo pio now na take that level of patriotism take jo develop ku kire dina pa wiri ka ci ba yini to yin karo mi jo karo bena guri mi lost boys bi wo kena ya kaza tejo ni jere majira pir so in that sense in wisdom we did not think when this drug was being debated we did not think that Rem had enough numbers I can bega the region de la sustain quite a quite ding le bugla la chapa ke ban lakini ban ding ku jere le ba de wa kor ke ka bi se na ab dong pe yunda ba na ki to yunda a ki to te ya de Australia ko ki to kre juba in fact kre juba they are all older than me ko jang le kor ko ban and you can say the same about Australia too you know you cannot say the same about Mr. Biden so why I'm saying this because it is already the draft what was the reason behind how that draft was drafted that was the reason there was a transition time in town maybe in one another election or two kerem bungur to community to it and in this kangaro abuga juro isn't it one number kina bu juro ko diri because the bit jona mi log dir ku jego loy wi and second abere tu yike bit in America abere ke ju pio je bene ke ju logo pio ke yite tu loy huti loy at the level of the community because to commit na ji loy kana kerem loy ke bi ke ger war ken ke bi ke we ko ger we pa bucket and that was the reason we say kulwela rem abu tem to go to 9 years lapi literally if we adopted the UN definition of youth that should get 25 lapi kuna lwela ke 25 lapi when in wisdom because some of you wan bo ka kuma who understand cheng jing ye yung yi tui to no ka ka no ta ko di ri tu kula mi ti ke di ke America le ke to ko jira ke. That's why we say rem is supposed to be at in his lapik. These people are keeping interacting together. We can actually disagree. Kulere no, akole 35 to open. So that we have more people, or at least more adults who understand the tree loyalty, because me big lamented. You know? So that was the reason. Lakin, we are not saying that the wisdom of the tree is exclusive to us. No, it's not. If there are people who have better arguments, or you will go jam, will go dieng, who koi dieng Louis, who koi dieng wo le bu ba le wo ko ra se janda wo pe ko be parents wo jo ko e bu mi ke na ba ri jo ko chol lakini cha ka men je ke Louis ke mi so ka chi ya jor wo kran to wo ban di go be ya yo ku ngo okay kalas then you have answered our worry because our worry was that as a situation we work about financially can bang la say. So if you feel like there is a way you people can handle it, okay, fine, we can leave it to you. You know, so it's a debate people can have, but that's the reason, that's the logic we had, and that's why one remati kulela ya what can you recommend? Walking around ya da gonna bindun pio banya jam kulela recommend bro kwan yina ngadang de yina recommendation yenga be kwan ke bandin, and it looked like all the parties agreed. They were okay. Buganang a small Kamakunji, a small meeting where they could have it. Be it on phone, be it on a WhatsApp group. See, Yangabia binded. And then Randin Chica agreeing to be like that. You know? That is something that could have been done. Why? It would sustain, it would create an environment where the youth will feel like, okay, so binding, you know? But that's all now exclusive to how you can handle it. Can a budget to Daniel? You know? Of course, this is not an open thing. It is a law. I mean, it is an agreement that is exclusive. That is based on the fact that you people are not going to fight. Because I like Rongu, and then you cannot agree, okay, Kabanyatui is going to decide what they can do. You know? So with the hope that you people can agree among yourselves and you end up agreeing with budgetary, okay, that one can be there. So the draft is like that because of those reasons. Lakin, if there are reasons the draft cannot be like that, it can be changed. After all, it is a draft.
Thank you, but I think based on your response, okay, can a little way debate a good chat. Okay. The good thing on this one, bylaws are kind of so there's still a more get drop. So we can debate on it. Kubu bend into a conclusion of keep it bill of planetary. But the youth were suggesting that actually a Bekel or independent, Bekel and just like a youth or something. They want to be under the leadership of youth, ownership of tweet, but a different association will the Bekel can allow freely. Now, really, big activities can loy big alloy with the approval of the bind on the allow of Jolo to the board. But Neke can road the alloy creating Yelwellian music, you call it music lost boys. I can guide than music, than quite woman, or how is that?
Yeah, this is not to say I've done a head count, but you know, based on my estimation, it looks like outside. I could be wrong, and I hope I am.
You're wrong. Yeah. I believe in the wrong bunch because from 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022, good daman kana. I believe used the gag What I go ting one hale. The big number je ben one hale. Ake akoi one be ben. What I go ting mi the lost boy one alo ku ni mi ka you are nim. Tini corner tini ni na ka go garet. And the people want to participate. I adults. I koi di. Ake really kana le buku lew. But the good thing of it in Canada na can man so ngor ke to di. Wo ben ya dan youth at the age article 9 the chana pin akana ko na ya pin kan but about jang ngor ke ja lo request so akan ko na ya pin na ya wrong article 9 jamin ban use be ama use of ATM from 14 to 29 at that scenario I believe Kikrimantini Jalwell Ban yen we want to keep quite how many use it bigger quite a big pure hero do bello one we be quite hirmandan gonna abaka nyai knowledge tadang nalo ni ake in the next 3 years tadang chube chwer ka way ma chube we participate ka use it or in the next 2 years 1 year ko ju da bijal he will better okay use not a ministry young liberal on that one of the things he use a yen can I watch over it ukaba ngai ngore ngai da ko ju active man ne use it ne special ben ko to man ke kum use man a tin random ke to in that in that line I ram go to 29 but most of them I just are pulling so I believe I take your way and that will affect me the lost boy ko ba ke pure man and
So yeah no le bete murun ngedi yang you suggest murun ngedi
in my opinion a can be this organization I'm a be used be active in maybe in 3 election I'm 4 ke betem in 39 that's my opinion my own opinion che ke usual because I can jam gan ko dit na 35 lo pen wen ko wo ban go time le bi wo ke lui participate ka bi ke use it man but man da ran ana bu go pil tar 30 inchi banya use banya tu chi ba la yo aku ta dangi ko batui loy ta dang ime jo lui pe nyet ba di ban ta dang ko use an big dreams for becoming a leader at that scenario in a chi le ko ju da chi ke ko jo lui participate so in my opinion 35 lo pe negra neg jam tadi yes yeah
wisdom wisdom ko na tweet with sing man pa ti gro ka de di bere ko
kan ji jal tin da
because kia de alo ga di bere ko nan ji jai ago de nan ma chi nan ji jai ba ya yu
Ang dangan.
you know juba nga ta ga you know ma ka ja re ale man in wisdom mulo ka temo 35 la pen erwona am dia 35 pa ti bro
Ita yo jo guy.
Rega lot time youth when to and to grow by youth. Yeah, that is a debate people can have. And even a lot of people here on in the comment section they are agreeing. That 35 lapping tenoremity should be okay. Okay?
Yeah.
Key you talking wisdom. Like we have said, as a situation I could well. Ko Brem Gakena law is not an issue. It's possible. There was one event Chiloiwan last year. Pedro. That event actually in Galina and Bany Portin. Kajenara Kwan. So now that event and Louis can organize. And Louis A3 community Louis funded, right? Laki rem yana ka chibu makarafon jura dom ku jegada ku je ku jega ka ken jega business den jega la conduct. So it looked like we will agree on the age. 35 lapin, I think we will agree on it. Kele bi kada, kele bi tui, ben tui jongo tula jamtin. But then, what is going to be the structure? Is structure rem bungo to tui community kaya banjak welebe ngot kaya kada welebe benbe kaya different kada welebe benbe kaya different entity altogether kabanang a different account a kind decision between jura loy na chinambes ke karam chiga tinga kale muta pale ku yarpe ke kalwele kala za bungo ke lui participate abungo ke tawo ke part of the community kwa kano be ata ku den kor ka biju afande kor ke non function en ko be loy ke ka bege ya kada ke ka be afande like that. So that is a decision we can make later when they do that debate. What need to be clear, by the way, is whatever bylaw, whatever be bylaw, you'll be come yitui can I mean come long the dior to you, long the remedy. Okay, you are looking at 2028. This one is gone. It is right really Menda. 2025 like hello. I didn't get a video agreement quite rut can ban tanya. So now we will have a different form ben ban chababa find it. Can I just you pay amen. Because now the Benelung Bella Guirti. Okay, maybe inauguration and the Benebella Jamthi. We inauguration Benella Jamthi Mia. Okay, Banya Remesa Hobitoke Queen. Ubanya Diosa Hobitoke Queen. So it will not be possible. Because Jam inauguration, it could be a local delegate. You know. Ayenka Kerun. That was not an issue. Three can always agree on the 8 they want.
Yeah, Banbara, I think you die comment, and nên coi là nó cần đi mà trên coi với pil chụp được bề bây giờ đi tới mấy chụp bây giờ là cái chip đó trong được rồi có tuy cái nó cha mới bảo là tiền depending bây giờ open since in chế lâu dài chế cái lối của có đôi bao mua bây giờ bao cái tàu cái lần được cái nó buku pole ya but why you now okay by use juba ku chế okay by use it when I get a dog in thing.
Well, I think it's more okay by you the Juba because they can't do anything. The lady to leave your money in damage. He did.
Yeah.
Like I am America to the cake then. Because you am a walk. I love a day.
Yeah, I love it. Then Gakan, Ian could talk in Ben, Dut-machine and a couple like I call it Dorothy. Now we use work or boon leadership that like I check a little work or boon different account. Ma work or book ya book or mentor Biarmading with your leadership ding junior. A chain. Pan get on working can loiter. So once na loy pan raising, could call use manable long. Use leadership then at all. Leadership then they can be able to conduct the activities. Ku bigger low practice on how to be buying core ban my chi barrier by Takoti and then it will a little bugger like when it will leg in. So and how to consume a key and use core below practice. Right now, and then good manager go Beny TV and to TV twinning and to TV coil campaign. So and I love a period, but coy cook the better opinion the big Benedy. Ko chi ran ben ne ya ban e pa ran jol bi mane ga chan ga ran ben lui political lui support chin ran chin dicto ga chin no so political lui support so on that can ne ka use a will and wo bi ngot ko lui bet but nothing in a buji 2028 is gone also because kake abla ulu ka men mi ku kai ke we ke lu ke 2028 so bu ko jo ba nyo ni pin 2028 ku je ka 2031 ne ka ben jala lu but they can about your use if nothing anytime they can debate with Ben or with the board. I don't think we will debate board by the way. A Bany and we can debate in and the kana a buku lawyer. Then you'll be working at dinner dang in Bandu much in a lot of creation and challenges. And I believe challenges are top. What are the challenges Chilo face? What would you jal but then the challenge Chilo face which I will what would you bel Africa because in chatting then you are much active outside the country. So abroad, so inactive. Yung Chilo face a rebel.
And I think the issue of numbers was the big one. The fact that overlay was really a big one. Big one. That was the major challenge. The rest of the things I'm a full-time student and I am a full-time employee. Too is a full-time job. So, and especially the one election, it was a full-time job. So our numbers did not help. Now we just get at it and now I can go up but we ended up being awake for all the times ke election minipa idea. Minigol woman made a chan buku campaign buku leo. It's been difficult. That is one challenge. The other challenge is the fact that you are leading a community of wise people. So everybody has an opinion. And unfortunately, at some point, the opinions people have are not ingrained in the law. The opinions people have are ingrained in their opinions. So somebody can come and say, look, one of the things we faced from the beginning was that there were people who campaign is supposed to go to date 15 pyro. Like the candidate should have been cleared by the 15 pyro. That lie was the first thing that wrestled with us. For that long. The reality is that there is no bylaw like that. So numbers was a big issue. Second issue is that we lead a community of wise people, people who know it all, and who na tijira and kalas they will blame you for what you did wrong. They are not going to suggest how else you could have done it. But that's life. Yeah. So there was nothing much. Yeah.
Thank you, Bany. In bara nang question ko bigyan. Bara chala in this leadership board kana yung ini chindia chilabud nang ting luye a point or yung reason. What is the reason behind that?
So I check them. I chilong I chitao ke geran ki banya payam la kwany. And so geran ki banya payam la kwany. Maybe you go kojit payam je la kwany then tik. And so that's the reason. In the draft, we are proposing that at least connecting to Ngoben from Payam. So the next board should have at least 5 women.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be ready for that. Well, welcome. Bara yung chicken jo bahinda nang dangan yung ja diri na red lebay queen kache cái gì gami
Bany tui, bany bot.
yes
I always have one problem, even in my private life. Problem I have in wisdom.
yeah
When we agree that we are going to have a show today, and then for whatever reason, we have agreed on what we are going to do and how we are going to do it. And then for whatever reason, you end up not doing what we said. Kena ramokai. It even worse if you don't have an explanation for it. No explanation for it, okay. But if you don't, Rambo. That's one problem. The other problem I have is when we are debating, there are things we need to do. Lakini, you want me to do things a certain way, and you do not have a logic for it. Kitu yang ada bangi ber, kero wala bangi ber, na kerja kajaram. And this works well when there is a law. Process ceremony election one. Ache process kaya kitchen long chilwell. So ayel will kena buka lutan, kubeto kutan, kubra loki. So one of the biggest things that happened on the election day was that people finished voting at around 6:30. And we get people extra 15 minutes. In Banyapayam, bin ground, Gorbachov. 15 minutes, I thought nobody came. Joga jor. Ojela kwen. Na joga gur, ojela undana kwen. Babu tonko. Ya yung udana rang ko bichwer. Come on, people. Tinga bela chwer gunu kwen. You know, we try book weird, logically, coherently, but it looks like the other people, they no will get too. In wisdom, because you can't pay the ramen. I need to get around. We talking next. I need to talk next. We're going to get there. You children don't get there. Chilung will get to 6:45. It is finished at 6:45, so you cannot debate. You know. So the biggest lesson out of that is when I took this role, I came in with the expectations that na chaka da changi guir kablo ro ko ni munaji ro ko ni mu ke chiran bi be yen migla or na no ran kor bay war ke ka be a reason ke ni ke lel be war abgal logically and coherently, and so you will agree. Of course I was wrong. So Kijalan in it is that you have to find a way of having cool blood everywhere you go. When you're in a public arena, have some cool blood, you know. Even if you're around Tong Yuram because some logic has not worked well or something like that, to lead to. Just keep waiting. Things will go. There you feel There you pay an in your wisdom is one thing I did not know until here. In wisdom, minu kuaran angkuj brana mang kujaman. And that's why you see a lot of people who have problems with me. Not necessarily ranchan pa yun yoru kujade. Ranchan with the bear, the way it dwells it. So, it's your response and kind. So when you describe me a certain way, and I respond to describing you the way I know. You do the right, or do the right term, do the arrogant and all that. But in this board position, there are things I take at a hotel. Sometimes I will laugh at myself and wonder, it is really me, because I answer a bear. I think the end of the can bear. It really doesn't matter whether you are old or young. I would respond. And for the most part, I respond in kind. But now it has come to a point where I look at things and I'm not able to respond. And so that's another thing. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And so maybe if somebody is not logical, or if somebody is defaulting on what we agreed before, or if somebody is talking to me in a tone that I believe I should respond to in the same manner, maybe I will be better than that, But yeah. So that's it. The biggest learning I've done is keeping my character as a person,
Thank you, Beny. In get a watch keep awake, what yeah. And I believe we're quite a being. You guys are enjoying the conversation. Bany wo jo belo vida ju belo abroad.
Okay.
I've seen that thing active, very active on Galo Road, Africa, especially Juba. First of all, in the thing on there's article ja kuilwa CNN, but they like it there, trying to push the junior team Ted forward. Leopard and P a little bit of your background back then, because article it then check and getting it up, and these are one of the things when you will core I use it Juba, or each I use it and on that political base youth ama lontowa use active in South Sudan. What's your view on that?
One, Rana Joding Junior. The incredible is someone close to me. Anangichi Nyalai Loitan. It is very difficult between to me this year. Nang dia kok eloi. Nang koi kok chingaralo. So my mother was one of them. My mother came to get here, I can get Manding Junior to came to get here.
1 minute, no, Ben.
So what happens is that in wisdom and I do benefit of ya. Kayin boku jumir ko kai kun jo kor ko de chi mama du gadi. Ka jo kor chan bu be jo changi. So when I was looking for those people, and when the junior was looking for those people, we happen to be those. Deng Junior happened to be around the world when Mama looking the Jura the other day. And as a war when Monday when you with his book here. And so we thought it was good. Bukuchang la Jo Marto. And so in 2021, Deng Junior che Tanzania. Chiara no indulgera lo juba. Ko ukakorbe akor banye mizguti. Indeed. How did that come about? How it came about was that Anang Tongatar all these years. Tongacho GBC, Greater Board, whatever, community. Kubo chop everywhere. Chop America, Ken Konto Canada, chop Kenya, chop Nasser, chop Misr, chop Khartoum, chop Uganda, chop Benum Juro Kurjuba. You get to get a European thing. So, and she ran a tree, ran a tree, a chayo. You do it. And then get and go to you at 10. Who can a Koran Chiria you win? You will one and quite one in mind. Poor people, okay, young people, the tree. Libuki were a little I took Pelboy. Yellow ran to a conducule. Ranro, I'm a beautiful on our boy. Ranadia, a Deng Junior. Ranang one, you need it. The problem is, couldn't do it. One beautiful on our boy. Look like I chill above 8K gram. So it might be difficult to get Banyaram back or. You need to ring out to America. Could Deng Junior to Tanzania? In Kasukuli, Tanzania, but Banya to loyalty. It cannot teach you about Sogudi. Whatever us. Muchaka manager Deng Junior, because then to America, will quite a girl watch it behind. A Luika, Luika, Chia over 8K. The youth. How quick number card 23, by the way. Eddie and 2 go Jericho. We don't know. So this guy told me, who couldn't do Kule and you can't jump. Well, look at Deng Junior, Deng Junior, Deng Abula Juba. That year and kick, okay. And like I said, Deng is my brother. So you Deng, you told Deng, I babu be Kenyambe. Well, look at so Deng I teach Ben Tanzania. Catch a flight, I keep him miss the cool and suppose Ben book billet can go flight go miss. Who can lower a day like today could be tomorrow? Go do you yen, Gan Guyen Guran, Nairobi. Deng can want to Jubaki. Go really can I get a loy? Take all the time you can. But I know. So, Deng jam, Kalasamalo. I'm beginning. Na ye ko ko intui e chaka manwana na king school kamalo. So that's how they went to Juba. Hello. Taban in wisdom in a kitchen cabinet. Koi kun you get in the kitchen could you decide and uncle Bakaraban. Is either Bako ta yin gulwe or beta gule yin gulwe nga kana loy. So I happen to be one of the first 2 people. Tijam gonna Deng Junior. I can't begin to antu Juba below. Go Deng go like a pia. Nale Juba. We sat down and formed 2 years forward. with 3 objectives. One, to get up now. Because you get tweeted. Now you know
Itu
you
ni itu kam
2001, 2021. So now ki cho greater bor use the session kujino ka jile ko tweet tin tweet no bari. You get tweet ka chuku jomo. So that was objective 1. Objective number 2, energy bring the tree bu lele di chambu pe. Your objective number 2. Objective number 3, ebu pana tree bu ber pe. Pana tree bu gao. Ke dia ke chuku be. Na loko tin 2021 anje you. Ko di nga ka yo. Anta America. Deng junior era la ni jadi. Ku gadan. Ku kana ko ke chingju ba hunte. Na loko election go ye. Wede. Lakin tuye jo wer ko to ke ping. E ki yo ko lele ki chol ngudi ne tane ye nge tuye ke ti ko ping afet. Bo garanga te ma yi lo mukta pi. Lo nyu yu te mara. Kana ko cha consulted dan ti ku lele hindu. Kara den ki ju wi ke. Ku garanga te ma jitem. Yeti ngudi. Go lo lele den. E kana ba no be dikri. Ku garanga te ma be te mara ke bet. Yin ga wani yer ba to man. I can jam garang by the way. But from how I know him as a cool guy who approach everything through logical policy, this thing is not going to survive. So Garangatim came in. Bogu jam will retreat. I keep a part of the Greater Board Youth Association. That was the thing he did for the first year. The second year, in going to a day center. The second year. The first year was to make sure this thing is dead. But we oh, okay, Kalas. God is with us. Again, I tongue that go live. Now for 2023, can you do again? I want to know the piazza. Can I get them? You want getting no campaign in Juba. Campaign a kin by the normal one. To you, Chorian, it's a logan nearing a Jigoben. Nadian 10. Will I take a look at you? So, can I change in Chorian? Go bring a circle long tea. You can go to it. Okay. That's okay. What 2023? Objective I can't tell. So we went back again, campaigning, saying the same thing. Wait, thank you. Don't want you to really take a loy. Like in how pan again, they went in and beat us. They go win. Now when you walk, they still saw it. That there was sense in what was being said here. Okay. They still sat down in their wisdom and said, our agenda number 2, agenda number 3, we was now bringing the typical in wisdom. If you look at what Atanyawaka wrote in 2020 to 2021 about we, it's not the same thing as writing now. Atan, I will go to the Kanang Tidan your twin the Mudia.
Pinyo
Could you tell me twin Jongole? Which mean dropping. Now, objective work, Kedia, objective worker. Kaje, Kedia Gaban Kaje. Could you do implementation? Implementation of a fan thing a jodo. Who can I cheat you a gap? Who cheat you like a below? I cheat a below a cheap back and then Junior, which you back 2 years forward. Then Junior, of course, Gay Beny will contribute a part. Like in his part is not enough. You know, without the part to Koyaka. So when you saw me being so involved in campaigning Deng Junior the way I did. It's simply because when this idea of him going to Juba Chambula Kurubany was conceived, I was in the room, and I have a character of mine which could be right or could be good or bad, depending on where you are, what side of the spectrum you are. When you are my friend, you can count on me. That one is guaranteed. Lakini anangetero kwaya. You can always know depending on where you are. Because when I disagree in exclusive terms. And when I agree, I also agree in exclusive terms. So Deng Junior, apart from being someone who is so close to me, in terms of the sweet relationship we have, I was in the room when that idea was conceived. There were some other people who were in the room, but I think they want a cake for now. Okay, Toka, in wisdom. We did what we could. Ken Begam, 2021 or Ken 2023, but I think you go 2025. Unfortunately, now I cannot even share in the success of 2025 because I did not campaign again. 2025, I excuse myself. I said you campaign over. Because, for example, while we election Biden, while we campaign election in Juba, Nora and candidate Biden, we campaign 2 for day. Go with the team, right? And we your team forward. So it will become very difficult for people to understand. A quiet team forward, Juba, we know America. Where do they differ again? So it could have been misconstrued that maybe these people are working together in Juba and they have come back to work together in America. Campaigning. But they know, they understand, And then this is the reality of the matter in wisdom. Najok Bayara Nyara, could you buy new job? Key con buy new dong, we buy new lawyer, could bring a bind lawyer. So they catch a video and bind the lawyer, bind it.
And luckily enough, it's a band.
Luckily enough, we got it, yeah.
Yeah, good to ban. Kitty, I think in che, I quite cheating. The guy article do I go joting in the gore one who got over the gun. And a chibella man, I got you get aboard. And Jati got then, I think you're cooler then on how you met with the Ben Lejaman and how you've been campaigning for him, though a cheer tree. But the can you know that in the bar, Equini Lubala Juba, by use Juba, Laban and call calling by Kubalakum because Banju are open. Anyway, you come in the bar in the Bakum as long as I can be very Juba.
Definitely. In wisdom, number one. Anong din chen wopion. Tamang luar bulu manyog. Tingi chak dit edina dany. Achi luar bulu achi lai nom kuje wola Martin. Jam le ke ngelu yenge mo nyana dong. Nge mo nyana lit. So, some of these things I have prophecies. Kugato Bible. Kiye churanak, kiye churachanak. Ebo weron chiluel bi ayi. Inga irachanak beto. Ebo weron chia saya luel bi ayi. Kuwan in wojo tingu wojo raj, monyong jok chugaya, monyong jok mo nyana bek. Ebo weron chiluel diri bi ayi. So I need wisdom. Number two, Now, la bany la te. I always have a way of having a soft spot for Angijam. Now, talk like Kiro. Kiro Corbine. Kind of a pit. You really don't have to tell me what is your manifesto. But I could do go watch up with Jangi. Now, Jangi, Jam with Yargo. I always have a soft spot for people who talk well. And Elijah is one of those people. That's number 2. Number 3. Banya Juba in wisdom. They are finding a way of rewarding somebody who has done the most. If you go to 2023, Ranaki are doing the most in the campaign. Ranaki all around Dunara. Arogaje Bakana Tui, Arogaje, queer Loy Chargo Loy, Arogaje, Sandagachi level. What do you go, Joel? He did the most in the context of that campaign. Naya one. In this election, the person who did the most in my opinion, Ede Junior. Of course, the second person was Bulajak. Bulajak with 2 computers, Kuriai. I mean, 2 generators, Kuriai. Deng Junior with 10 computers, Kuriai. So Deng Junior did the most. Otuigo Chua. And so one Rana Cholo Kura Yuen, Kayaban, Manyongo was his political advisor. And so he was in charge of the projects, the BCYA. Manyok was the face of the BCYA complex construction. In my opinion, he did the most. He did the most for Bor County, for Bor youth. And I was like, somebody who has done the most should be the one being rewarded. And so my support for him was manifold. But in wisdom, you know one loy bany pi Juba. Kake achi bany board achi go le gem akanga ba lo. So a very credible loy one which I jam at it. Akeda ka duru wan yi kwet bany pi loy Deng Junior bany jor ka li chinti. Duru wan kwet ka jagara taw credible ko.
Big shout out dong enjoy majung makero sama kawan campaign manager kadang Elijah banyak.
Yeah. Majung makit.
Majung makero ranti aja one of work aja loh. And I believe in your beer, but then good sign and US gonna there's someone to incorporate can in the most. But now when you bang a chico value, Kalubalo or na cover baby, Galubo. In I think it's Louis
Long the
US.
bunch US? No, because the US I cannot opinion. I only restrict my policy. I only restrict my comments to policy.
Yeah, Joseph Ding, thank you. But then get that way when you're done, Timanira and forward. So anything regarding forward, you will be able to answer it. Banya Jang to made a comment. I will put it that way, a comment on the junior Bujala Bany Kongarang. Ke Koiga will consider K. So to that point, ne kalebe abanyu be used be binded the kwan te dangen ni ran ni arka iran bi ke luyen ke iran forward ku director of the board to it or what is your point on that? And also but Marin Deng Junior made a statement also that the 90% of his work after Pande Juba one forward agaring ke joy resettlement this is our passport yet You know the reality also. Lord by a check around top. But then Junior made it as a clear point. Louis. I want to be able back up to the end. 90% of my work is based in Juba, what you got one. What is your take on that? Okay, bye.
Okay. Number one in wisdom. Kono garanga ko e ban.
Yes.
Ngor ken ba ni ken jara. Sa korba kwan ko je gol pen ti bro. Pen tier 2025. But you can go to twin. So Rani will not even be part of this conversation. Leave it.
Yeah.
Rani chơi đỉnh junior, nhưng cái bài luôn. Cái juga. Oye, ay ban ma ba je lele ku lele da. Man kene de ngayo, dia na ra di kene yen. Awel. In wisdom. I don't think money as a person. Lakin tu jam nadi.
Several.
I think oji jam naro.
Yeah. Could be again.
Kene dia ki jo jam TV tu nyen. TV wisdom TV nyen.
Yeah.
So it means not necessarily run money in Kyoja. As a matter of policy. Ban kun garanga ko mini chala nen gulo ne ban tilo. Aje monata. Temde ngano. Kin oja. Gudi man. Min lewo por register. Kun yawe. Why? Chalu yoye. Akina jinglu ku. Na jinglu ku ko wochi ja. In wisdom. Rantong chan kuin. We went to church. Jabun ye wore bay. Jogo kuin mo ka tan. Bana jambu yen for no reason eating yen adio. That's the only person. Not even my mother or my dad. So ma ba je ban. Den you ne ban. They will talk. Nano ko jam. Kuna ji ko jam ke chema ko jam. Tichine ko jam ke chema ko jam. Ki ko jam is twofold. Ko jam lu ben no ngene ma ba. You de ngulu ke ko jam ki. Or ko jam lu ben no dik. Ku yu jang tu ngulu ke ko jam ki. Kuna chi ko jam e ke ko le ngulu la ngere wo chiro na dik. It is not part of leadership policy. Actually, bin jam ngulu man kire ngayo bu leng. Adi na ran de lu ge yen pe. Yang atir ban ke na jang tu ban security tu. Yang atir ban ge yen sa dar na ken de jam ge yen ke de ngadial jam ge the alternative person. Yang alternative. Norangi. Anorangi ge lu. Yen. Kudeng junior. Joga jam yin.
Yeah.
Military ma deng junior. A good you cool it. What you jam 2 days ago? Unga yongul elgu. Tingi na diula juba. Tingi na la kirula juba. So we were calling. I was calling him to find out how they could meet before Kena Diojan. Policy. And then we did not just call each other to say I love you. Of course, we love each other. That's fine. But that's not enough for a call. You know? So I think take a failure in any way. People talk when there is something to be talked about. When it comes to Kake leadership, response je deng jam gu le ga na banye juba. Of course deng banye juba, that's fine. Lakin banye juba yung mere no. What reason was it formed? One of the many objectives it was formed quite point by. So the sharing ratio among them, I know for a fact where Chile blue, like in the sharing ratio is not in the percentage of 90-10. More so I dare say 50-50. Because in wisdom, yung lo juba. Kilo juba chi entire center.
Yeah.
When I go to youth, go pin big, go be char big num, law cái đằng, law char go, char jaltea center, law char go. Yene kilo juba. The kana will give one will denk. The kagaya, I can him will denk. Achakaran der che jam. Twin der che jam will be one will denk menega chwer erga lo ke. Take a look at juba. So there is a higher calling to the Taya leadership than Kaloge Juba. You know? And I know for a fact they understand that. It knows that, he understands it. So it's not like he said Kulwele Kabagala Juba, I 10%, could you 10% you leave? And then you are able to see this is exactly 10% and then he's not going to do anything else. So the sharing ratio is not in the percentage of 90-10. I honestly don't know. Because I charge what percentage in Louis share. Lakin, what people need to know is that then in the capacity of Taya can only do what is possible. They will not be able to repatriate people like can be out. They can only contribute to come the tree. The same way the US will contribute, the same way Australia is contributing, and the same way Canada is going to do. And the same way Juba will do. So, now che banyerofi. Yene banye ding. To check ya contributing. One, keka one, Taya one, Nigeria ba chiku gwa yokero. Ariel benega twila up. Neriandong chide bueno riandong chibula yang tiabe. Good. I could repurpose the generator one chibul bag a little bit tower say Taya center. I can repurpose the bill along. Low you know when I can be charging alloy to check a local coin move telephone. A contribution Taya too. Right? So you may come low time. Very difficult. Because quite a hit and I can't be time. Then for a general beer one. But next year, in the next agricultural year, Lebete and Lebugola pur loaded to you. Would have the Bugola put it to you, Najelo. Keke Bikoi, remember by Tita, bigger work, bigger go up here. Kubia, Kubeka tweet, and make your good. Kete, I contributing. The Kaka in wisdom. I some of the agendas token day. Of course. Then the other major contribution anybody can do. Maybe for raising Bijol. I can go fund go mati, could be to you book one. Yes, possibly they will do that. Before raising a Bijol, we go in quite labai. So Kaka Guinea. Jam den I young to you, I think no deed. A young to you was probably overreacting. Give wisdom. Quite white. Rana Jordan dude. Could be one romantic guy, you know, who like checking on people, whether with reasons or without reasons. His leadership is tight. He's good with it, you know. Dut-machine with the junior, they don't have to call you every day. Lakin, wow. People will be able to call and do that. For example, and one transition. They may not one keyboard kwan in transition a good big life one I only talked to him once ke cholen ke tijer nang ko no nge you know nang ko ko no nge ko jam mo ne ye so na no ko wa ko jam na chin ko wa ku ken ko jam ko ja kerun man injale
Thank you, Ben. In our conversation, our interview will end from there. Then yet, yeah, but it's about the one twin, but about gang or get the or on personal level. You know, your leadership, a chan ba jo Bennett and running to hear or Congo, and I heard of you. Uh, Bang Africa before Benning a Bennett, the first leadership in the JKI, am I grand? Yeah, a chan Baya first South Sudanese to lead the other student, ke foreigners to Pana Uganda or Pana Kenya. Kati yellow bang or kala ba dan kubu jato then bari mark the last remark bajalra how did that come and what motivates you at least by that position balloon.
thank you wisdom 2012
Yeah.
I don't want to go on jamia I happen to have been the first South Sudanese student admitted to the School of Engineering, Kenyatta University. Nala, kalau yo kai kedia ke tahu tan ke mi kwang junubin. Rantok, rana jo ko mading, mana biai. Raro, rana jo manyang ding, mana ulian. Rana diak, junior daw, mana kongor. Ke na yo ke ka ta yo ke muk de ni cho saku. South Sudanese Student Association, Kenyatta University. Rana muk ne jo ko mading. Ingaya bany. So after I came, our numbers improved. I can ranting junior real mayek. Who later happened, man Agar, who later happened to be my roommate. I admitted the School of Engineering, I petroleum engineering, I Bekwen. And the rest of the people. So our numbers grew. Our numbers go to date. Kijo, Yenekelo Amar Saki, in a South Sudanese Student Association in Kenya. Ku Parliament is actually representative of universities and colleges. The Parliament is the law making body. So now on, Kijoy Banyan got mentioned. Now no round they choose if you go Corbiaban. Take a year. So Kayakino portfolio. A Bany because you can get you would take me to SAC meetings whenever they happen. At that time, Churiang Marol and Guy deputy president of SAC Nairobi. So oila, what a joke. Naji joke to jam, Kajitok. Kalim Koga Sakul, the Chagaran, Jam. Then I would take a minute or two to say 1, 2, 3, 4 things. So, what you know about 1 year ago? I want to 1 year. You do bind you to a country. They call me privately. When I jalo kadang imia, na chukulo amar imia. Ki chal road lu angkor bai. Okay, kepiat. So you ga bind the country. And lu angkor bai. And my deputy, Rani Chol Chalis, Awa Bilton, kadang, monya
Uganda.
No. Emon Iran keden. Emon le tuko Iran to read. Guy my deputy. My secretary nyana jora Yana Maria Changat from Lagos State. So you can see that my government was well balanced. Mwanyapa Nile kuma Equatoria kunyana barkaza. So we were good. So and so I was actually the second chairperson of South Sudanese Association, Milge Juno Pinto Kanyara University. Jiogumading was only leading about 3 people. For my numbers, I big over 40. Came Milge Juno Pinto 10. Now, by bind the Sapuich, and you know my achievements and my downside. One of my achievements was to register our association with Kenya University because I can register it. We were able to register it. The other achievements talk about the level of SAC. Because to one Janjolo Kenya University, presenting and one of the lawmakers now, because I'm representing a university, which been changes to instituted. One of the changes that I really work for, it was almost me against the rest of the people in the SAC, in the council, during the debate. Now, when local chwer, I will look at you by the way you big 50-50. Would you speaker? Rana chota abgad yet? Moinwer. Banyi chole yang marolwe. Speaker of the student parliament and gajibe jotem. Ulwele kalas. Ke win dude yangaja jo yangaja tamyi. Because kada jia draw. I was on one side and kujaya rana chola my brother chola Malanayuel. Malanayuel madude moin gedang moin toy. He studied international relations. He has a master's degree in it. And that guy can defeat anybody in any debate. Because Maluet is very coherent, he's very logical. You know. And so the debate was about, because SAC, any election, the local election to America. Na to Bongoma, to Eldoret, to Nakuru, to Kisumu, in Bijoba Karawaben, Aruba Bichuan. And we said no. My team was saying no. It's about the regional centers, Benaka. So, Kenya Western region, Amati. Rift Valley, Amati. Any other region, Amati. And so we won the debate. And it was able to be instituted. The other achievement in what we are pushing for was at the level of Kanyari University. Because Kanyari University, I ended the student union. I election the Negro every year. With that student union, I can get that. I can any representatives. Because to put take into constituencies. So I ran move this dome, and I ran move the other dome, and I ran move this dome, and I ran move this dome. So the quite there, I get represented. Like him, the position of international students are linked. So we pushed for a position of international student with the in the Congress. And When cho kolawol Richard ina ka mug mi ke Nigerians who ran ini chol abdi in ka mug Somalians. And so what we did when that position was created, Nigerians quite West Africa will be warning. So we actually pushed for the position to be created. I was actually the person writing everything I could write. Our laban lete kiranje with rana chola nyuwa ma kwaj mendan pake le moy Nigeria de wir go pio kai. So na lo ko bene kro ke bo mar go yi Somali kulel go in state we go be we go jinu bin wo pay. We are not going to do it ke East Africa, West Africa. So Somali ni gato sukule kuja ko East Africa yi Uganda and sa chu ke bi jor yongni. And so what you think that you could be jiro no my Nigeria when it's your biode. So what you biode you could be with. I think that was the second achievement. That was the third one. And the rest of the small things here and there. So my biggest failure in leadership, in wisdom, was 2015. 2015, I am my secretary, I tell you, Manko, Ilakar, Bany, Zach. And my secretary lost. She lost. And Koik in my cake, I she lost because I did not campaign well. That time, actually, we coincide. The Malay election, actually, we coincide. Can a daman Charlotte regada? Charlotte, Angela to internship, and a whole career. Nai Bacha. Get a law internship in. And a Louis can get any chola. What is the name? Tengen. Kenya Generating Kenya Electricity Generating Company. Ingalu can get it. Ingalu can get. So I ended up spending most of my time in at work. Unfortunately, when they lost, they started doubting themselves and started saying, maybe I do really campaign on our behalf to get it with him. So that one was counted as one of my biggest failures, and I take it home. My candidate, Chibeya, losing the election. So that was it. I think and wherever I might, I don't like giving people blank check. I don't like giving people assignments. They're clear already. You know. So when I try to lead, I try to give clear assignments. This assignment, this is what you're going to do. And possibly, if you need help too, I can tell you how you are going to do it. You know, that has been some of my trademark. It's a very difficult way to run things because at the end of the day, you find yourself micromanaging people. And you find yourself being involved in every task, which is not the best way to go about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it happens like that. So, you know, I don't know where else. And especially in the community setup. No. In the community setup, Anjakar 2015. Nairobi. And then when we did the election, and it was one of the reasons that inspired me, by the way, to take the board position I can buy involved in elections. Because an election was once done, and I ended up being announced the loser. And up to now, I don't even know how I lost.
If you're a new way again.
But the issue with them,
Yeah.
you are running an election.
Yeah.
An election will get a election in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have a register, right? You don't have a register. You don't even know who is voting and who is not voting. You know. So there was no register, there was no identification, there was no nothing. And
Yeah.
you know, Rana Kaju no woga kadan. Rana Kaju woga moy kongo de chul mapat. Uran moy kongo ran Kaju chuk tigita de mo nya yuan. Wir wisdom. Kadan ilak na loy trijo Aldorado Kasrani.
Yeah.
Kasrani. Ko gitin Kasrani gidroi Zimmerman. Ke katio. Ko gitin ayo kongo. And so my chairperson mo nya wulen. You know, unfortunately, for whatever reason, in Nairobi, William Ka Lavington, Yanka Karelecho, Yanka Tui. So it would take them time to come. Wisdom. Election after that, you know, 1006 in Galileo election to Gulaka Jachua. Mandawanya, Tayatom, Ingi Piloi. I thought you were elected.
Why again, Ben?
Yeah, you go, I'll you the
Why you are going right there?
Go, why you are there?
You're there.
So,
Okay,
this one. You know what? And you didn't do my campaign funded. You must be on my joke about double M. If you get double M, king it, you just 64 people. A big cake. Yara Timagun, Yara Timarway. Yara, a boga double M barrow. Nyayo. Today, no magic to you. Because it do my campaign funded, you know?
Yeah.
I did not even waste a single shilling, which I did not even have because I'm like my land so good. Kitty, but they can really uncut. And the Arabic took over, you know? Arabic. I'm going to be your with Kujaya, Tingabulaya, Tibilo, Australia. They took over and they funded the whole campaign.
Yeah.
You know, my campaign theater ran a young Ratamanyo. Kujawa and Marajambari. So I did here, they managed to do it. They are the people scheduling meetings.
Yeah.
The campaign was actually being done at school and no exam. So I job and beja. You know?
Yeah.
Naja Kuchare, Tim Yaraba in the big Gasgaro. Tim Timobio young the big area.
Going about we would worry in the window again.
Hey, I get you weird out of election. I think weird.
Again, by doing a good election one, the lawyer and a cock of good job to get them in road. No, I didn't know it. I got Bendy. That I you belly and you went to that I got Bendy. Like you again, wow, who you been?
In wisdom. In wisdom, and around low like a chiguir. I got chiguir with a dick. I got chilu, I rebel, with a dick, chiguir. Lakin, I just be child got you with. Running pretend. I think the difference was about 70 votes or thereabout.
We never get the idea that you know.
I don't get the idea that me way, William, you better actually I can't quit.
Yeah.
I tell you wisdom.
You
would have been, you know, in CSE.
Yeah.
You first need to know you're stronghold.
Yeah.
The stronghold was a work on me. Okay?
Yeah.
So in stronghold, you're going to, I will on So quite dear one, you're going to war. I call her Jim Clean the young name. You will clean the young name. Quite few kids are young, but kids don't even become man. Then I try. Lakin, at the end of the day, quite a bang of your market, I could tell him, I can't get with that. Inchi leba kadang inchi leba kadang loy. Inchi leba li election contestant ora rani is stronghold day kulora bala tiama chiralo. Ana rani jin wir red bala tiama ko gatin daro.
Ke dia ke jaya mai kladi le. Ke dia. That means 64 times 33. Kujala ke jo ben cha rian de to. Iri kere mishkila ban dud but hopefully chagam you accept the debate. Kita nga jay no kui jo weird. Did you
Wacha kaya mana jangan deng mang is a good friend of mine. Jangan deng mang araga ki gure with di.
Yen marizon kagan koi wati gao. May men watching almost 4 hours ban ku guys level ale lo drama ale jay but hopefully walking on one on 54 more guy. That's been our conversation and we enjoy. We call it with a cake later, but one remark that out by choice shot on your leadership, the work alone through the election one at Wheeler Road, by your conclusion, yeah, out into this conversation for Buku Jaltio.
Inja le wisdom. Na le ben election one ke there are so many things security and recognize. We possibly will improve on them. You know, Rani Joy bleed a chiran away. Bleed actually ran the one to con wood with it. You get bleed. So, go keep your long you ran a joy to bleed a cornian. Go on to go on wound in a chip by the white onion. A door weapon. So the next team election law, I will try to prepare a very comprehensive report that can be in cake. It can be our work. If it be comprehensive report be in cake. I go okay basing the election law based on in the near future. Because one to watch because be watch. Be dinum. I am kind challenge for having me. Thank
you so much, Ben. Ye number jung or kan le ke ko ja dai kan ka ba ke le big thank you. Chan cha ka to na and number one thing in ba le we got lundi. Ana bo ka ko wan ke a lo kan. Na ba ben lo to ko na. Ke people actually believe in me. People who have trust in me. This conversation we will enjoy. And number one, but we can't let that one. Yeneke gold again. Opening a lot of conversation. I ran feel like a nigga call Buku Ben host. Please, you reach out at work, and we will be prepared for that. Wanting a lot of people, wanting a lot of journalists to work on Wisdom TV, wanting good bill. I think I targeting nane ramlo videos go by then. Wanting biara then who's daddy. This was an good experience in journalism. So kwaki abaya you work kuena dengan abaya you work. Ini ke go dagan thank you bandut. This live at least abaka juda abaka lo self. Naira ngede ni ye we wanga kera loy ke kana achiro loy ne ko lo ka ta ping dong bandut. Yen bandut chin problem kede ebe kulo road belwel be yen ke lo nekan. We wait again later and from there ko our live show bukulo end and bandut thank you and thank you again.
Thank you.
Incha later in wobe julo be ma and one song about lo play. Thank you the chiro go lo drop. Yeah.
waka ujang Twinda na wetu loy Wadhi twinda kachal jala twin Twinda kaya nale bany kwan kuje Pyo kute biya banyalong Yenge kiye o bay Twinda e koni nom Chiti dari arbe dinche Cham waka ujang Twinda na wetu loy Wadhi twinda kachal jala twin Twinda kaya nale bany kwan kuje Pyo kute biya banyalong Yenge kiye o bay Chiti dari arbe dinche cham waka ujang Twinda na wetu loy Wadhi twinda kachal jala twin Twinda kaya nale bany kwan kuje Pyo kute biya banyalong Yenge kiye o bay tiam Tana ye gwang mungkubel karawe Lele tana tuya tiam tun Tuya zan kiam kare pyonaram.
And thank you so much. I don't want to go into politics again. Though din gonna then lot on team bankun, but it is yen ganya though a pan to a no bit. Thank you so much for nanning ran conversation can walk kaya will welcome to Wisdom TV and reach out to us. Ilba lo invoke, ilba number record it, and kujala ko ju ko gadang abuke chol will reach out to you. Who open good time. Please work follow like YouTube, work subscribe on our YouTube, and then you can shoot on videos ke diar kujala ka jui ko warning a lot of conversation can go to Africa and it can bala die you will get a lot Wisdom TV bala you on YouTube kujala TikTok and whatever everywhere. Please follow and thank you so much. We back late ko jare and work good tie from there. Thank you Bany Abraham Dew for the good word Tagalekan and I hope we will improve. So good thank you. Team Abajabat wait late and from there I am very live Bajalo and Yalakan away Bajan and good night.